Yo. 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 How's my day been? Good. Good. For some reason, he thought it was Monday? Sunday?
Apologies, cold hammer.
Noob.
Ah, Gus Fruman. I guess we've met in person now. Good to meet you.
Cold water.
Yes.
I'm late.
The last name. At this point, if they get the first one right, I'm excited.
I'm freaking late.
Well, I won't do it again, I promise.
Let's
No
go.
worries, no worries.
Okay.
Good luck.
Well, everyone, I'll read your homework in a little bit, okay?
What homework?
I'll grade it. I gave a paralegal homework.
Wow.
Mr.
Read
Bell,
his
you might
Michael's
need a
Infinity
mask.
essay.
Yeah, the mask thing will sort itself out. Let's run upstairs.
Okay.
Bitch.
Down from one knee kick.
Yeah, I barely even touched him. Little bitch. Watch out. Watch out.
Oh,
Knee bludgeon.
did you just get him in the balls?
Nah, I hit him in the knee.
It looks a lot like you hit him in the balls.
Surprise!
Oh my god.
Hiya!
Hello.
Hey.
There's blood on your shirt.
Why do you look like Vivek?
It's just like
Because I was Vivek the whole time!
Oh god.
Please put on a mask.
Like
It won't help.
charges, you still have to catch the people with the guns.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
like it's going to be just as difficult, and I think that
There's
it's
one
going to-
solution.
Kermit,
and I'm
yap
gonna
time's
need,
over.
I'm gonna
Okay,
need
sorry.
permission from higher ups to do it. So
I just think it's going to hurt you guys more than it hurts us, to be honest.
I don't disagree with you.
Which meeting is this? 4? 5?
Yeah.
Four. Yeah.
Are you ready, everybody?
No.
No.
Okay.
Michael, I swear to God,
What is it, Juna?
get that cigarette out of my fucking face.
It's like he's doing it on
Ask
purpose.
nicely.
What do you mean? I just quit smoking. I could strangle you right now. Thank
That's
you.
illegal.
Hypothetically, with love.
Oh, so sweet.
Okay, good. 4th council meeting, begin!
I.
I am Max.
Hello.
Hi, Max.
Today, we're going to begin with Michael Simone, who worked fucking hard as shit the last couple of days to write up some cool ass shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get to start again. All right.
Yep.
I only have 2 things so far that is done.
Mhm.
The rest is still work in progress stuff, and then I guess some of it is business stuff. And if that is your forte,
No,
we can
no,
just
no.
kinda-
Hold on. I read over it last night. It looks fucking perfect.
There's a few things I need to change, but
And
I'm
there's a
glad
few
you like
things
it.
we need to discuss.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Like a lot that I've been trying to contact you about for like the past couple of weeks, and you haven't responded to any text messages, Max.
Yeah, I've been waking up late.
Yeah.
Late.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
wait,
in that
wait,
case-
wait. What phone number were you texting?
Both.
I only have the one.
I texted both.
Hold on. My phone numbers aren't showing properly.
Yep. Max Thorbird, we need to talk about business shit.
Well,
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation
hey,
mark,
hey,
exclamation mark.
hey,
That's a lot of
hey,
exclamation
hey,
marks.
Nate, you guys
no,
want to
no,
do this
no,
privately?
no, yeah, hold on. Michael Simone did a fucking awesome job with business shit. Did we need
Yeah,
to?
we spoke. Michael and I met up while I was sick as shit, and he thankfully wrote some stuff up that we discussed. And there's things that he needs to change about it. The other thing that Michael and I couldn't come to a conclusion about was the comma stuff, because that was your idea, and we don't know much about what your goal is with that. So we could have written
Okay.
some gibberish, but
Chamber of Commerce wasn't my idea. It was an idea that was brought to me. It's a good idea, but I don't know how to make it work.
okay. Then why have we low-key promised people like a position in the
You guys
Chamber
need
of
5 before we
Commerce?
do the meeting? This seems like a
Yeah.
YouTube
Crane,
conversation.
quiet down, okay?
Oh my
Excuse
God.
you.
That's also
Oh my God.
Pipe down a little bit, all right? We can talk about this right the fuck now. Chamber of Commerce will come eventually, or not. That's the bottom line.
Okay, so you don't want to do it with the business stuff pushing forward soon or whenever? You
My
don't wanna do it at the
my
same
vision
time, you
for
wanna
the
do it
Chamber of
after the fact.
Commerce was to establish a way for the government to regulate prices, because guess what? It takes $3,000 for me to repair my fucking car right now. Okay,
Oh, thank God.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my vision. Okay, but there's a lot of variables to consider, which is why I have not begun to work on it yet, because I need to see if that sort of stuff is going to level itself out before I decide to say, hey, guess what? We, the Council of Eight, are in complete power and position over how much you get to charge for your stuff.
Okay, and then are we going to be like Kami earlier was just talking about a few things about establishing the whole union / guild stuff. We're going to be doing that at the same time. We're going to do that after the fact as well, because there's some alarming things that have taken place that if we do push for that to be shown to the city as a necessity, then it would be somewhat beneficial to the circumstances that are taking place this week or the weeks before. Kami could touch on that more, but like robberies and shit like that.
Honestly, I am shying away from the prospect of the whole union classification. See, there's no unions anymore.
Yes.
There's no unions anymore. And I talked to Lang. I talked to Jack Kellman, who changed his shit to Labor Co. because they were trying to do for-profit stuff, and I was like, listen, that's not what a union does. And they're like, okay. There's really no unions anymore, right? So I don't think there's any need to really like classify them, at least publicly and legally.
Yeah.
Okay. Then why did you have me go and talk to Lang about some of this stuff then? Because it just
I
seems
talked
like...
to Ling too. I'm not going to
When?
sit here and
When?
let you accost me in
When?
front of the council. I talked to
no,
Ling
you
3
said you
fucking
wanted
weeks
to
ago.
Talk about it, Max. You said you wanted to talk about it. Well,
That
I
was
don't know
not the
this because
time.
You literally said you wanted to talk about it. Let's talk about it right now. Am I wrong with that? And I'm asking you.
You're going over shit that is 1 month old that I've already fucking handled. I got them to change their name.
You have not told me this. You have not told me this, Max. When did you tell me this? And I'll be like, okay, that's my mistake. When did you tell me this?
How could you have ever
I'm gonna grab a
possibly
cigarette.
thought that this was the
I have-
correct time
Yeah,
to
it's a
begin
four-pack
talking
one.
to me about this?
You
How could you have
literally
possibly
said,
thought?
let's talk about it.
I was trying to get your fucking back because you were making an ass out of yourself, but you kept
What do you
fucking
mean
going.
I was making an ass out of myself, Max? How? How was I making an ass out of myself by asking the questions that I've been trying to ask you for weeks, and you were like, look, we could talk about this right now. Let me make a fucking ass out of myself in front of people then. If you fucking want me, if you're literally saying I'm trying to have your back. You literally, what do you want me to fucking say right now? I have not spoken to you in fucking weeks. And you want to have this conversation right now, so I asked you those questions.
Juno,
I entertained
Juno,
it.
look at Michael Simone, my deputy, okay?
Okay.
He took it on himself to write up three great pieces of legislation by himself without any input from me. Why do I have to coddle you
I'm not asking you to coddle me, but obviously I need fucking questions from you so then answers from you so then I can move forward. Mind you, I've been sick as fucking shit, so of course I haven't been able to do anything for the past 2 fucking weeks. Doesn't mean I haven't woken up and spoken to fucking Michael about shit.
All right, it's enough.
Jesus Christ, man.
Enough. You need to communicate with the chief of staff, bruh? No. No. No, I don't.
Anyone fancy a cigarette?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Here, I'll come over. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Go smoke in front of her. But those worms are gonna kill themselves. Pull up OSRS.
Javon, do you have a
Anyone gonna fetch Crane?
Oh.
Crane
Crane needed to go change his fucking tampon.
Give
him a moment.
Oh my god, it didn't work.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Here, try this. Just don't look at me.
I don't think I can.
Just try it.
No. Oh, I can. Okay, did that work?
Oh, it did. Hurry, give it back across my notices.
Okay, alright. I looked at you. I'm sorry.
What the fuck, Siobhan?
I'm sorry.
Taunts you, attacks you.
Also, for the stuff that is marked as work in progress, everyone here is fine to add or delete or whatever.
Yeah, I made a couple of notes on one of those.
Right.
I wrote my name next to the edit, just so you know that I changed it and that words didn't just mysteriously appear next to what you wrote.
Dope.
I guess in general, yeah. Do you prefer us to kind of like add notes like in the middle of it in like parentheses, or would you want us just to put our feedback like at the bottom in a separate section?
Just add it. Yeah, just add it straight to it. If there's
Just in
shit
the
you
middle of
think,
it? Okay.
yeah. If you want to remove stuff, just like line. What do you call it? Fucking strike through it.
Yeah,
whatever.
a strike through. Yeah, just for
Yeah.
recommendations. So, all right.
Eda, is there anything you'd like me, your assistant, to add to the work in progress?
No.
A lot of this is just to have it in writing, basically. So there is something we can talk about if it comes to it, because some of it is just spitballing, and some of it might be fluff or not necessary, or somebody has different ideas or different points of views. So
Yeah, you pretty much added in a lot of the things that we had discussed the other day, and then like the discussion that was had, you know, when we were there as well by others that had good ideas.
I try.
You did good. You did good.
I appreciate your work, Michael. You're doing great.
I do as well.
I mean, honestly, given what we used to do, you know, I know that we're breaking away from all of that. I mean, this is going to circumvent a lot of the same. I guess it's going to circumvent a lot of the BS that we had to deal with.
Resign and
previously.
rob
So
the laundromat.
This helps immensely.
Hey,
to
welcome back.
Avoid any of those reoccurring issues coming back. So I don't see any issues yet.
Hi there, Crane. I've taken up smoking as well. Thank you, you and Michael, for the recommendation. I've taken up smoking as well.
So are we still starting with the Simone stuff then?
Yep.
Okay. The first thing I guess would be the drip mandate. To put it in like TLDR, it is just to have people dress up in either uniforms or work attire for the job that they're doing, basically. It's not a dig specifically at G6 nor at Grime. It's just don't go out and do fucking towing in like Crocs and Mankini, and don't do lumber work in high heels and a skirt, like stuff like that. It takes you 5 minutes. Yeah, it takes you 5 minutes, if not less, to put on a uniform. You do G6. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're standing around at G6 not dressed up, but the way I had to write it, just to make sure that everything is covered, is that the second you clock on, you could in theory get a fine for not wearing something that will identify you or as, you know.
Oh, what's the fine? Oh, it's
$1,000.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
So this means when I can't sleep, I can't walk in my pajamas and clock on to go over my notes.
In theory, no. And again, it's up for, we could change it. I had it at first that it would only be when you do work. But due to how some jobs work, it's hard to distinguish because say what is it? I think sanitation workers can grind shit. Basically, meaning that they can get caught. Like they're in an area where, you know, wearing a dress could be an issue.
Right.
Just because of all the machinery they have around.
Safety issues and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. I mean, look, I have no problems with it, honestly, because it doesn't take me but a second to change my clothes, but...
I mean, I'm fine with the idea for similar reasons, but I don't know if I'm okay with fashion police at the end of the day. Like that's where like my hang up is. Like I do like the standards. I do think you know, kind of in the line with the mask mandate stuff, like maybe something is needed, but the enforcement side of things is where I get a little like maybe we're overreaching a bit much.
Yeah, some of this is a bit vague. So people being fined for it, like when it's if you're not wearing visibly Group 6 uniform doing Group 6, sure, that's clear, that's cut and dry. But when it's like you vaguely have to wear something that makes sense doing tow, it's kind of like, well, who determines that?
That's on
apparently me.
The police.
Yeah, that is on at discretion.
Yeah.
I will support you privately, Michael. I think it's a great idea. Publicly, I'm gonna vote no, so Reed Dankley doesn't murder me.
Yeah,
fuck Reed. Yeah.
He wears cardboard and a pan on his head.
Wait, what?
That man does not wear pants.
That's what I'm saying. He wears underwear, and well.
What job would we be worried about him for then?
Well,
Any of them.
Actually, I will say though, when he's working at the hospital, he is wearing full scrubs. He does wear the uniform.
Okay, first of all, that took a while.
A lot of convincing.
Did it?
Yeah, we worked up to that point.
Yeah.
Philippa worked very hard on that.
On a unrelated note, Dr. Cantor, I gotta talk to you about something after.
Oh boy, all right. Hell
Like
yeah.
again, I'm fine with having it changed. The way it started was basically again G6 being the fucking issue. Like say you roll up on a scene, you have people that do G6 dressed in all black. That's getting robbed by people dressed in all black. Who do you shoot? You have no idea who the fucking worker is.
I've
I can
literally
see that,
witnessed that.
yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't shoot anyone. That's kind of like the thing that they do, right?
Well, that's something we got to talk about too. Because
Yeah, that's starting to be a thing.
I said to you guys that I would start issuing civilian gun licenses when criminals had guns. And,
Apparently they do.
I've got forwarded a couple reports of tampered firearms that came out of nowhere. So
I got reports from one of my doctors that she knows people have
I'm,
not stolen ones.
Bro, I know people who have guns.
They found.
yeah, I'm considering a slow rollout of firearms to highly select individuals like G6. The problem I have is, as far as I know, and again, my information may be outdated, but one of the primary guys running G6, quote unquote, is the Alexander River guy, who, if everyone isn't aware, is the guy who was hired by the PD, got a weapons license through the PD, bought a civilian handgun, went to a group 6 meeting that he organized with like 30-40 people, and then waved the gun around and said something to the equivalent of, I know Crane in the government and we're all getting gun licenses.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of
We
torn
don't want to
because
reward that, yeah.
I want to work with Group 6, but I don't know who I would work with to get recommendations on who's a reliable employee. So it's the same problem that Michael's having of like, we could set up a uniform, but who would enforce it? And if it's only the police, then it's kind of like, I feel like industries should set their own standards, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get the argument that Mike was going for. Like, these are government industries; they don't really have a manager. Like, I said, I'm all for the concept privately, publicly. Yeah, I don't know about fashion police. I can maybe see a safety need for Group 6, but not the other jobs.
Well, let's skip Group 6 then. Michael has an idea.
Wait, well, no, I'm confused. Kermie, you have a question?
I can wait until Michael's done.
Okay. Wait, what?
The idea for a gun license rollout.
Oh no, it's more. So the issue, Crane, is as much as I want to roll them out as well, I want, if anything, I kind of want a trial period where we would see how people react to it. Because even though there's guns around now, people are still gonna get beat down and have their shit stolen.
Right, and you know, hey, I'm right there with you. I'm saying that I've gone from hell no, absolutely not to we probably should start considering rolling them out, because I've always said if there's illegal guns on the streets, then it's not so much of a problem of PD guns anymore or civs getting robbed.
Yeah,
it's more so an issue of preventing people who are clean, because we said no non-felons can work Group 6, so if they're actually clean people, they should be able to be given a chance. I don't know.
Is there ever a scenario in which someone working Group 6 doesn't get charged with a like whatever the charge is for shooting somebody? Because the way that the stand your ground shit is written, like there's plenty, like if they're at the Pacific Vault, for example, you know, there's tons of places that they could run instead of shooting the person that's trying to rob them. So at that point, what purpose does a gun serve for any of these guys when the law doesn't even protect them in using it?
So the distinction would be, Max, the specific tenet about property and defending property was used by folks to, and I'll give you the most common scenario. I have a nice car. I park my nice car outside of an event. Someone comes up and starts lockpicking my car. I am outside of the event having a cigarette. I witness them lockpicking my car. Under the previous language, I could tell them, if you don't stop lockpicking my car, I'm going to shoot you in the face. And if they didn't stop, I would be within my rights to shoot them. In the case of Group 6, if armed gunmen swarm your, let's say, delivery location, and you have some people running the bags in and out, and one person, let's say, standing guard, and armed gunmen start approaching you, you as the person standing guard, to prevent yourself being, held up at gun/knife point, could warn them that you're armed and draw your firearm and deter them. In that sense, yes, before firing,
deterring doesn't work for
required to
crims.
see how they react to you pointing a gun at them.
They
But
never
in terms
stop,
of
dude.
brandishing the firearm, you'd be within your rights to protect yourself that way.
All right.
Because at that point, you don't have any indication of their. At least this is how it would play out in court, right? You don't have any indication as to their intent. So if someone runs at me with a knife, and I pull my gun and I say, "Hey, motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you," then it sort of ping pongs back to them to either continue running at me or to back off, right?
I'm not mad. What the heck?
Again, I'm kind of, as I said, torn on some of this because I don't know if I trust the group 6 people.
Okay, idea, real quick. Jesse Adler and her gang tried to kidnap my wife and I from City Hall again last night. Again.
Wasn't she supposed to be your fucking security now?
No, that was Paige Malone.
Oh.
Yeah, Jesse Adler's a different person. Why don't we just give ourselves gun licenses as trial?
So I was gonna say something. So I think Max and I had a quick conversation. I was gonna recommend that, first of all, why are people able to check? Why is it public that we own a license to carry a firearm?
Yeah, regular people can see what kind of cars you drive, what kind of licenses you have. Michael and I were talking about this, and it makes sense that should only be something that the police could see, right? Unless we're missing something.
I would agree. I don't know if that's...
It has always been the case that publicly registered houses, firearms, etc., are on the public record.
Like, it makes sense for properties to be publicly known, right? But like, why do people don't need to know if you've got a weapons license?
Well, for example, if someone claims to be an attorney, you should be able to go to the city hall and confirm that.
Well, make that one visible. Make the other ones invisible.
The reason
I can ask about that.
Thank you.
The reason is because, say we do a trial run for gun or weapons licenses to the people in this room, minus Kermie and Alex. They can just walk up and they just casually look up my profile or Max's profile, and they can now see that he has a weapons license, meaning that people are very quick at making conclusions that, okay, he has a weapons license, so now that means he also has a weapon. So let's find Max and yoink that weapon and add that to our collection. Instead of it would be word spreading or Max being forced to use that weapon before it is known. Like at some point, everyone is going to know, obviously.
Max is never on.
But
I'm on every night.
Also a prevention to just
I'm on every night
for people to just,
See
see
the
that.
first person he stands his ground against won't know. That's for sure.
Well, that too, but that's probably fine, isn't it?
I can ask about making that a thing. I don't know the capabilities. I'm sure.
No, it's fine. It was just a discussion we had that it would make sense in a way.
Yeah, as far as like weapons licenses, I guess my stance is, yeah, I do agree a trial run is necessary with highly selected individuals.
Leaving me with wife who just got home.
Just the people in
Bro,
this room,
listen, my
or
wife got
maybe
home
some,
after traveling for 16
really
hours.
Cursives that we might know off the streets. That could be something.
My kid was
But
already
I do
asleep.
agree that
She was
a
like, I want to
trial
take some
rollout
NyQuil and
is
go to
probably
bed.
best.
I'm
I
like, okay.
also think requirements should be extremely strict. I'm talking about like I would support something where it's like, if your gun gets stolen and you don't report it, you're an accessory to the crimes that gun is used.
Well,
in.
that's already on the books.
Is it?
Yeah, that's already on. Well, you mean accessory to the crime?
Yeah, I'm saying like,
that's a bit higher.
We already have criminal negligent ownership of a firearm.
Yeah, I'm saying they're even more negligent if you don't report it.
Yeah, but we can't prove accessory requires knowledge, and you can't prove that.
We're the council. We could very
Streaming on
easily
Noom
just make that.
you literally made for your no effort drink where you can be as lazy as you want.
Legal definition.
No, and honestly, fuck off to everyone in Twitch chat yammering at me right now about any of that. Anyone for the last 5 pages, literally don't talk to me.
The situation is very clearly you report your gun stolen. No, don't just claim ignorance after the fact, because we all know.
Oh no, I agree with that. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about cases where someone steals your gun and then immediately commits a crime with it, and I'm not sure if.
Yeah, well, I'm not mad.
No
Dude,
offense, Dakota,
I'm mad when people are trying to demand that I stream more. I don't want to, man. I don't want to. Fuck off.
It can become.
God forbid
More
cops
work.
investigate and use some discretion once in a while. God forbid.
Okay,
know that
well,
you
let's
did that
not
a lot
put
too,
more
Malton,
work
right?
on PD. You know,
I use discretion. If something doesn't make sense, I didn't push it. If someone commits a crime with a gun they just stole, I'm not
Guys, I'm
gonna
having a
charge
hard
the
time
person with
focusing.
accessory. Like, Jesus Christ.
Pretty Fox,
That's
thanks
why
for
you're
the
the
claps.
civilian
Thank you.
oversight board, not a cop.
Speaking of which, how's that
Right.
going?
Oh, good question, Crane. How's that coming along? Did you read over the stuff I sent you yet?
Yeah, we are going to be pushing elections in the coming days.
There you go.
That Archie guy might off himself if he doesn't get voted in, by the way.
Oh my god.
I don't.
Oh my god.
I'm just telling you how it is, man.
I will not be held hostage by his accoutrement.
Could I say something if we're going to be seriously considering civilian licenses?
of course.
I had this on the books a while back. It's not something that I didn't know it was going to be on the. I didn't know it was going to be on our to-do list today, but essentially, if we're going to be giving out licenses, I would like to get a plan in place where those are registered with us at PD with the serial and everything after you purchase it, so we have it on file.
Yeah, that's how we used to do class 2s. We could do that for a limited rollout.
And then I would also like to potentially down the line, I know we have criminally negligent ownership, but if someone is truly robbed of their firearm, I think we should have a maybe secondary weapons charge, like criminal possession of a registered firearm. If someone goes through the trouble of coming to PD, registering their firearm with us, and then it is truly robbed from them.
Is that worse or the same as
Or yeah, were
tampered
you saying an
firearm?
escalated like class 1 charge?
Well, I mean, I'll go down a rabbit hole here. Basically, part of my itinerary for today was to make the criminal possession of a class 1 a felony anyway and up it as should all the other possession charges with firearms. But I would like to make it its separate entity because
a bunch of info
if
battles,
civilians gonna
articles
go
added
buy a
today.
firearm and then they're going to come to the PD and register it appropriately, then I think that there should be a higher bar set for someone who robs that person. And I know, like Malton was just saying, if someone is robbed of their firearm, obviously there are protocols in place. Even if a person goes and commits an immediate crime with it, you can 911 that your firearm was stolen and then come to PD and try to make a report as fast as possible. I know if someone steals your gun and then goes and shoots a bunch of people right away, that will be a nuanced situation, which we will take into account. But, you know, at least personally, I believe in my ability to navigate.
Los Santos not implement that technology that the gun couldn't fire register unless the register owner is holding it or too meta. It's too powerful.
I don't know if I
you want there to
go
be
as
the
far as
ability for
registering.
people
It's kind of similar
to
the
steal a
strip
gun
act,
from somebody.
Like, I'm
It's
on
more
the
interesting
fence
that
as
way.
with a lot of things, but I don't know if
though I can see that
it
being
might
the
be a
case
little
for
too
police
overbearing,
officers,
in my
but-
opinion. If people are
Yeah.
required to register their
no
firearms
biocoding.
after this limited rollout, right? Like, I think the government has every right to know if your gun's been stolen as a safety concern, but I don't.
When still
think
Matty
it's
was
an
grinding on
inherent
Hawk,
safety
guys,
concern
I
that the
wrote a
government have to know about
giga
this for
statement
purchasing.
last
Well,
night.
and I'll say
Holy
this too,
fuck!
for
I can't show
civilian
you guys
firearms,
on Max, dude.
As far as I am
Holy
aware,
fuck,
and, you know,
dude.
I don't think this has
It's like
changed.
6 MDT pages
when
long.
you purchase a civilian firearm from
Like
ammunition or
this
another
right
reputable
here?
government source, the serial is tied to your state ID.
It's like 6 MDT pages long.
So I don't think
McNulty
there
read
will
it?
be any question of whose gun is whose.
Why
if
so
it's
long?
something that's
Because
robbed from illegal.
Lenny heard that motherfucker whine.
I also don't see how
Are you trying to kill me
because people
with
can
your
just walk up
pin?
and do the
And then
paperwork
McNulty got out
then and
311
there,
and was
then
like,
walk out.
listen, I got some
There's no
complaints. So
way for
guess
us
what?
to
It
make
was
sure they
fucking
come by
base cover
PD
in
and have
time,
it
dog.
registered.
It was motherfucking base cover in time, dog.
I think the biggest problem is how many are they allowed to buy?
I
Like
don't
an
see a
ace.
scenario where anyone would need more than one gun.
Well, no, exactly. That's what I mean.
Well, you say that, but
Can unprofessional call Lenny out over open calls? No, McNulty used 311. And let's be clear, I love
Fire
McNulty.
cops.
Okay.
No.
Sounds like
Oh
stockpiling.
my god.
Anyway, so I'm open to.
Well, let me be clear.
All the suggestions made. Do we want to legislate any of them? Does anyone have any specific ideas of which we want to do right now? Because I can open the MDW and start writing. I just need direction.
Are we wanting to legislate for a limited rollout or just generic regulations?
Limited.
How many do we want? Yeah, just
Limited
at first,
rollout,
let's say.
please.
For
How
us.
many do we want?
All of
Well,
us.
I was gonna say all of us, and then do we want more? Because then we could all have one person that we would recommend.
Well, one point I will make is that if your reasoning behind wanting the weapons license taken off of a public profile is that you're worried about people being targeted, and then we do a limited rollout in legislation where we disclose that we're all being issued weapons licenses as part of a limited rollout, then we're all targeted because that's public in legislation.
Yeah, well, follow up. I've been waking up late every night. I'm already targeted, so I don't really give a shit. There are people, a gang of 5 people rolled up last night to try and kidnap my wife and I again.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying no. I'm just pointing it
No,
out.
no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I got robbed at knife point the other day. So
What?
Yeah.
Like where?
Be a little more
right
tactical.
between the hospital and the clothing store.
If anybody needs
Damn.
rooftop training, I can take you on a tour of the south side, different ladders, vantage points.
I'm open to the limited rollout still. I know there's risk there, but I mean, I'm also in a usually safer place in the hospital most of the time, at least. So.
Well, yeah, because if anyone,
Hopefully I won't get fucked up.
if anyone attacks the hospital, it's terrorism, right? Some shit.
I don't believe
Not
so.
anymore.
Not necessarily.
Not
that-
anymore. Okay, so
that got way too complicated a long time ago. So
what do we do for us, people who are working out of City Hall, government employees who, every time I'm at City Hall, I've got my fucking wrench out because I know that some shit's gonna pop off, and it does every time. There needs to be a stricter punishment for people thinking that they can roll up into City Hall and kidnap people who work for the government.
No, I'd agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Same
Didn't
thing
we-
happens with
didn't
the
we up
hospital
those
all the
charges
time.
already?
Yeah.
I mean,
I want a new charge for people who work out of City Hall getting attacked at City Hall.
Max, question: Is that the second time this person has kidnapped you?
Don't worry. My wife has already begun discussion
all right.
about the ego act on this bitch.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, no.
Are you basically advocating for a terrorism light? Like,
Yeah,
Hold
kind
on.
of.
I will also say,
It's gotten out of control. Normally, I would.
Whatever-
Normally,
whatever
I
I'm
would.
gonna say.
Normally, I wouldn't, because I know the worry is, hey, Mayor 2 is like calling people, talking shit, like, hey, fuck you, bitch, and come try and get me,
No,
and then
I don't
hides
have
in
a
City Hall.
worry.
Okay.
I'm not expressing a counter or a worry. God, however I say this is gonna sound like victim blaming. I may
We
suggest...
chose this while we took the role.
No. I will just say, there are a couple options here. Number one, in the interim, I may suggest that if you know you are being targeted, it is perfectly reasonable that maybe we take meetings or hold audiences past the metal detectors on the second floor. I can talk to the construction folks about maybe putting them at the front doors.
Can I get locks on my office door, please?
Because if you pass by the second floor into the inner, innards of the building, the guards take your weapons.
I noticed for councilmen and women now, that's no longer the case. Obviously, the aides would still be SOL, but yeah, we could go through metal detectors now just fine, similar to judges and police officers.
Yeah, look, if I got a gun in a spot where these motherfuckers get their shit taken, then that is perfectly acceptable to me.
Yeah.
I just don't want there to be a case where we feel like we can't work out of here because there are people that are circling.
100%.
I literally had to
for the
spend
concept
24
that,
hours in a cop car, so yeah.
As much as
I'm
I
in agreement.
enjoy the whole sitting on the front steps thing, it's kind of playing with fire.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start playing with language and roll out ideas in a document. Do we want to go over other stuff while I do that?
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't giving us all a weapons license doesn't have to be something that's even like written, right? Like for this little trial phase.
Correct. So what I was going to write is my idea for now is as the licenses are the purview of the DOJ, I will. We don't even need to make it legislation. What we'll do to make it more subtle is we will update the punishments surrounding firearms, specifically what Malton discussed about making it a per se criminal act of accessory to have your firearm stolen, not report it, and then a crime committed with it. We already have that somewhat in that if currently the way that it works, just so everyone's informed, there are 2 charges. There's criminally negligent ownership of a firearm in the 2nd degree, which is where your firearm is stolen, it's found on someone else that's not you.
100,000?
If that happens 3 times, then your firearms license is removed. However, criminally negligent
You agreed to it?
ownership
I
of a
know.
firearm
I thought it
in
was
the
10,000.
first degree states that if your firearm is stolen, you don't report it, and a violent crime occurs with that firearm, then you automatically lose your firearm. So what we will do is we'll add a provision to both 2nd and 1st degree to state that any crime, not just violent ones. So let's say somebody's out there leaving without paying and they've got your gun on them.
You want to see McNulty's reaction to your statement?
Reckless evading and they've got your gun on them. You are an accessory to whatever crimes are committed with your gun, just as a deterrent to prevent people from. Actually, that doesn't work. It has to be with the firearm. Okay, I'll tinker with that. So I'll start tinkering with language and
I'll get
in
Christ.
So let's go to something else.
Okay.
He's got a higher resolution than me, so it looks like less than it is on my
love
picture.
to go over some of the stuff that I am proposing.
You said, "Holy fuck, my brother in Christ!"
Yeah. So City Council document 2020. There's a lot on here, so I apologize.
I went over these last night. They all look good to me.
Making criminal possession of a class 1 a felony, upping all 3 possessions. As it has been stated previously, we have already, as a PD, recovered firearms that have been tampered with, as in the serial number has been scratched off and we are unable to identify.
Lenny was there when the first one was caught.
I believe that also needs to be upped. We arrested somebody who had components.
Custard says the best report he's ever seen.
Which,
dude,
we potentially think.
Oh my god, I was so fucking hyper focused as soon as that guy whined in in character about getting murder pitted around. I was like, bro, I know what's coming next. I know what's coming next.
So I'm proposing criminal possession of firearm components. Again, the language in that is, I'm open to help with that because I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible.
Logistically, is it? I don't know if this is on your list somewhere, but couldn't you just loop components in with accessories, or do you think that the time and fine needs to be this high on the components?
I believe they should be that high, yes. Because I think if someone's going to go through the trouble of procuring these, then
he's got quite the photographic memory. I went back and I watched my VOD.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, well, I guess what I'm getting at is what
my
a Glock slider.
My justification for that is, if we're all playing characters in a world,
is only worth whatever the charge currently, like 12 or something.
Oh, so you're talking about
that stuff that Lenny should have remembered.
Attachments. These are
so I use my
components are specifically the pieces that are used to build the actual firearm itself, not an accessory.
Literally not allowed. If it's not allowed, then whatever happens, happens.
I want to just be careful here, Dakota, because what's the impetus behind making?
Did he actually pit below 100, or did Lenny lie? It's hard to tell where the pit
deterring
if it was like 98 or like 102, but it was really close to.
No, I mean like everything. Like manufacturing moonshine is 100 months, $4,500.
Well, that I need.
That's like a murder charge.
I need help on that one because while moonshine is illegal,
If you were actually that person, it's pretty variable. You would remember. That's right.
Right now,
I
under
only
the
went
current
back
law,
and
there's
watched
no
my shit and
manufacturing
stuff that I
charge,
saw from my
if we see
perspective.
a still out in
that I
the
would have
middle of
remembered
nowhere,
if
we
I hadn't
can't
been
do
streaming
anything
for
about it.
fucking
Why are the
8
components more
hours.
than a whole full gun?
You know,
Well, no,
all the
guess-
different
hold on. So
micromanaging
I'm
shit.
making a larger point, which is
It's hard, man.
In a vacuum, right? Numbers are being thrown out for some of these charges.
You don't know, cops forget a lot of shit. Yeah, but
the
cops in
more
real
that
life have
we
body
throw out
cams,
numbers
you know, dash cams
that don't fit with the current
all
charging
sorts of stuff
scheme,
like that. So
the more that it makes it just seem like everything needs to be increased, and the numbers. I don't know.
I'm not a cop, you know. I don't have access to.
They didn't
to
stop
all those
Officer
reports
Acorn,
anymore,
or-
but like class 1, class 2, class 3 positions, government employees being targeted. Is this really? It's always a concern, but is it like trending upward? Like I don't know what I want to say. Like, is this becoming like a huge issue? Like all these things.
And the other
thing
is
increasing numbers just to increase numbers.
Right. That's what I'm pointing out. And the other thing I'm trying to point out is that God. We live in a city where no matter how
I rolled
high
that
you
car
make
would have
some of these
been
numbers,
wrapped
people
around
are
that
going
pole and
to
everyone smeared to a fine paste.
and just constantly increasing the numbers across the board. I don't know what it really does.
Yeah.
That's fair. The only thing I will say is 2 weeks ago we sat here and made speeding $1,000 ticket, and everyone was quite happy with that. So.
But that is because we loosened the regulations regarding speeding, right?
And that was also in response to, not response, but it's very clearly there's a lot of speeders going on in the city. We, as the city council, decided to address that by making changes to the speeding laws. I mean, you're the liaison. That's why I'm asking. Is there a lot of reckless endangerments going on? Is there a lot of first-degree and second-degree murders going on?
That's what gets me. I understand if we want to discourage guns still. It's been nice with
Someone do a
people not
percentage
having them,
based
but,
on
like,
crimes on net
why
worth?
does that mean suddenly we have to increase unlawful imprisonment by $2,000?
I don't think my character wants to chime in here because
look, I'm gonna
he's
say
a
this
big
as
gun
easily as I
fan.
can. There are some considerations with times and fines that are going to go beyond the council that may just have to be adjusted, and we can vote on whatever we want. We can make the changes, but I can't guarantee that there isn't a need in terms of the DOJ's side to balance some of these things.
I am perfectly fine with discussing some of these new laws that may need to be put in effect because we just don't have laws on the books. But in a general sense, I'm against all these increases, unless there's a real public safety concern that we're just not aware of.
The other thing to
Legalized
consider
pits
when
at 100
I'm just speaking
mph
from experience dealing
retroactively.
with times and fines is that oftentimes you'll look at a crime and you'll go, "That's a horrible crime. That should be this time and this fine." But we have to remember that crimes are not committed in vacuums, and they're often in clusters, right?
Mhm.
So when determining times and fines, and this may be going too into the weeds, it's often good to look at scenarios rather than individual. For example, it's 6 robbery. So
lag.
under the
You got
current
99 fire making today?
proposed structure, right?
Good job, man.
Hold on.
Rats, dude.
So these upgraded charge proposals, let's say they do it with a firearm, a class 1 firearm, so that's $1,500. They robbed Group 6 employee, so that's $5,000.
To finish my worm task? No, not yet.
They're then found with the cash on them from the robbery.
My
That's
uncle got busted
$3,500.
making moonshine a few years ago. I got 3 years and $5,000 fine for it.
I'm just pointing out it's very likely that I could easily articulate how a Group 6 robbery could be fined like $20,000.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if hey, it would stop crime. I don't know what to say.
I'm not against increases to firearm possessions, because like I said, I if that's something we want to try to limit, that's great. But I think yeah, you've lost me for the rest. I don't know.
Is there a way to distinguish in here which one? I mean, I can kind of do it myself, but which ones are new charges? New charges. Oh, you have it labeled.
Yeah, you put them at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole moonshine thing is very new to me. Do we know what the
We have moonshine on us right now.
effects of it are, other than getting you drunk off your ass?
Well, it makes you go blind eventually.
Oh.
Pretty sure it actually kills brain
It
cells.
tastes like shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
smoking causes cancer. I mean, like
that's
shit.
very true.
Right, but
would
we
be
don't have a
actually
law that
okay with-
outlaws cigarettes. We have a law that outlaws moonshine.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
more.
Like that's where I'm
That's
getting
why
at.
he's
Is
saying
I
we
don't
don't
know. Like,
need it.
I might be okay with moonshine being
Yeah.
legal, like personally, and unless there's something I'm missing here.
That's why I'm asking for, like, is it something like, is it an epidemic? Is it actually like harming people?
Weird
That's
say
kind of my
shit.
thing, because like with manufacturing
Yeah,
it, and
I mean, Kermit, you're basically up in Appalachia, equivalent. Like, is there an epidemic going on up in Toledo with moonshiners?
An epidemic?
I mean, I've heard
Nah.
people talking about it quite often, but
Hero of the
like,
evidence
I
in the
don't
corner of the
hear
room. But what
anybody
about me
actually
DNA on it,
consuming
dude?
So
So, if it's okay with Etta,
yeah, go ahead. They asked.
moonshine is normally only illegal because, people make it on their own and they don't get taxed on it. So, realistically, there's nothing wrong with moonshine besides. Actually, do we even have alcohol in the 24/7s or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
we've got
okay,
whiskey,
okay.
rum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's like moonshine is just not taxed
It's
by
just
the state.
non-regulated.
Yeah, it's not
alcohol,
regulated. So
yeah.
it's like that's really there's
So
nothing.
It could be bad for people. It could be untaxed. Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. Moonshine doesn't do shit to hurt you.
That's
It's
honestly
like-
fair.
it's
I
like
think we'd have to
joints.
test that before we want to make it illegal.
I've
yeah.
allegedly tested it.
Okay,
I
fuck
think
yeah, all
I
right.
think moonshine should be decriminalized, and
I'm just kidding. I did actually.
if you're selling it, then there's like that unauthorized sales law, or whatever. You're not a business, right? So you
That's
can't be
fair.
selling
Right.
it.
I think selling it would
Test
be
it
illegal,
right
but
now?
That's what
possessing
I'm
it shouldn't.
saying. Like, I think there's existing laws that cover
be
that.
quiet now. Be
As
quiet.
far as like manufacturing, I don't know how. Like, I'm just gonna straight up ask you, allegedly, Kermit.
Okay.
Do these sills have to be operated like near a river for like the water or anything? Like, is there a reason why this sill can't just be in like an approved business or approved location, right? Like, 'cause I have a problem with the manufacturing it on public land for sure. But
Right.
Do you have a problem or you don't have a problem?
I do have a problem. Like, I don't think you
Okay.
should just be setting up a sill in the middle of Mount Chiliad.
Fist of Conchu, thanks for
Yeah.
something. Transient metal,
But
thanks
if
for
you're
something.
if you're setting one up in your house, like, who gives a shit, right?
With my
Like,
legal
well-
experience in the past, thanks to Crane giving me a law license for whatever reason, he thought that was a good
How
idea.
much is this?
I don't think it should be illegal to make it or to possess it, but I do think it should be illegal to sell it.
well, that's what
Is
I'm
the
asking.
still
is-
itself
Okay,
dangerous?
hold on.
Objection!
Stop. I gotta say something. Stop.
Okay,
Everyone,
overruled.
please stop for a second.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I was
Kermit,
just saying it.
I'm great with you being here to take notes and all that,
Yeah.
but it is wholly unfair to Siobhan and Alex and anyone else who's permitted to be in here who's not part of the council, who is sitting here quietly taking notes for you to
Mhm.
interject and have an opinion.
I thought he was ass.
It's not a personal thing, but we just got to keep.
No, it's
things
all good.
consistent.
I was just answering the question. My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. So,
I thought he was ass.
okay. In terms of stills, I have a number of concerns because, as said, well, who cares if you put it in your house? Well, for example, I care if people are setting up a clandestine still in their fucking apartment and there's no regulation or understanding of the person operating it, and they could, I don't know, fucking explode it by overheating it and cause fire or damage or anything else.
Yeah, that's why I
There's a
asked if they were
specific
dangerous.
reason I said house and not residence.
I mean, even then, do we want people operating stills in residential neighborhoods?
I got a I got some firsthand experience with this. I ran across a guy and a lady out in Sandy, and they approached me, and they were like, "Hey, we make moonshine." I was like, "Cool." They were like, "You're not going to report me to the police?" I was like, "It's not illegal." And then they were like, "Hey, you should make that illegal."
Oh.
Yeah.
How
You're trying to
long
make it
ago
blind?
did this? How long ago
Yes.
did this moonshine shit surface? Like the talks of it, at least.
Seems like 2 weeks ago.
We've had the laws on the book for 8 years.
For 8 years, and it's been 2 weeks since you guys have heard about this.
Since
shit?
my first personal encounter with someone.
I dealt with
Overall.
moonshine well before the
Yes.
collapse.
So I guess this question is more from the coder then. Has there been like any incidences from the PD's end with moonshine, like within those 2 weeks?
We're actively catching people with it on their person.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just the possession.
There
Like,
is a
are they
possession
inherently
charge,
doing
yeah.
other illegal stuff with it that you know
Well,
of?
well, I'm saying they're actively engaging in crime, and we're catching them with it on their person.
I have some additional insight. I've had maybe 3 or 4 different people talk to me about this because they're pretty bold about it, considering it's not illegal to make it, right? They said it's made with dirty sewer water.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah,
Is
Reed
it?
gave me a bottle of dirty sewer water.
Oh, I have
Oh.
heard. Yeah,
Not
there's a lot of
moonshine.
I think all the
Very good
ingredients
bottle.
Or
are
just
from the
dirty,
sewers, right?
dirty water in general.
I think it's like all dirty shit you use to make it.
Yeah, we should just make the manufacturing illegal because the only way to not make the manufacturing
Yay!
illegal is to set standards for the manufacturing of moonshine, and I am not creating what it amounts to a fucking EPA.
Sis wanted us.
I mean,
Sis
it's
wanted
just
us to
a
make it
license
illegal.
to
Produce like alcohol and
I mean,
They
on
think
top of
into
that, even though we haven't really heard about people consuming it as of yet, doesn't mean that they're not, and it doesn't mean in the future that they're not going to get sick due to it.
Once again,
Sis wanted us to make it
back
illegal.
The good old
You-
classic
you're not
cigarette
yelling?
conversation. If we want to,
You need to yell.
sorry about that. I'm gonna circle back again to cigarettes. Like if we don't want people going down in the sewers, if we don't want people blowing up houses, I could get behind that. But at a base level, I think possession of it should be decriminalized. If you want to fuck up your own body by drinking moonshine, that's your prerogative as a citizen. The same as smoking and any other vice that people may do.
You're gonna lose everyone as soon as you say moonshine should be decriminalized, and then people are gonna ask me for medical marijuana dispensaries, and I'm pull out my legally registered firearm, and that's the end of the story.
I mean, yeah, people are already going to ask for certain things to be decriminalized. Like, the question is, where do we draw the line? My line is cigarettes and moonshine are okay, personally.
Shouldn't
Not
the
meth.
production
That's
of
so
alcohol
American.
shouldn't the production of alcohol be done
That is.
under clean circumstances and everything, just to make sure it's not dangerous?
Yeah,
But
that's
but
what
like
Crane was
said,
saying.
Do we really want to
Yeah.
create like a
The
EPA?
EPA.
Do we
Yeah.
want to do that?
It,
Who wants to do
FDA,
that? I don't wanna do that.
EPA.
wouldn't it be easy to just say,
Yeah.
don't fucking do that shit in your backyard? If you want, you have a
Persona!
business.
I mean,
And
but
who
it's-
inspects it, who oversees it, who writes the
Nobody, because we will never accept it.
But then, like,
Oh,
what,
then
what,
why
like,
do
the
it?
whole,
Then why-
the whole
Yeah, that's what I'm
cigarette
saying. Then just make it illegal.
manufacturing of
Yeah, just make
cigarettes
it
and
illegal.
manufacturing that stuff. There's clearly a label on it. You know, there's clearly the ingredients to make cigarettes are not illegal. You know, you've got tobacco plants and whatnot. I mean, apparently
What is
there's
the
sewer
illegal
water.
ingredient in making moonshine?
I mean, it's not necessarily illegal, but I mean, sewer water. That's fucked up.
Carcinogens
it's-
and cigarettes
That would
are fucked
never.
up.
That would never get approved at all.
I think the argument would be when a business sells alcohol, it is under certain stipulations, right? Like it has to meet certain requirements and be
Yeah.
under certain levels. If someone is just going into the sewers, grabbing whatever shit they want, going back to their house, making something that no one sees or regulates, and then selling it to somebody, that's a little bit different than if Jack Daniels sells you a bottle of whiskey.
I think we're all missing the point. I think a lot of us are agreeing that we can't manufacture this point. I'm saying possessing it and drinking it, that is an individual choice that should be up to the individual. not regulated by the government.
So
I think we should regulate the safety of others. That's why we regulate firearms and drug uses from tweakers or anything like that. But people aren't getting fucking wasted on moonshine and then going out causing public
But
disturbances.
if we decriminalize possession, aren't we encouraging the market?
Correct.
We're encouraging the illegal manufacturer because we're making a decriminalized legal market of fires.
yeah, that is true.
I mean, that's just an argument to never change anything that's currently illegal to possess currently. We're not encouraging the production of it. We're saying, hey,
He said, drink
it's your choice, man. If you want to drink some moonshine and not commit any other crimes, why should we as the government try to stop you from
So
doing
wait,
that?
no, I disagree though. You're saying that if manufacturing is illegal, but possession is decriminalized, you don't see how there's a different size of market if possession was criminalized?
I'm
I see
assuming
what
1
you're
unit
saying,
equals
but
1 bottle.
I don't think the I still think the individual right to do what you want with cigarettes or moonshine or even marijuana, if we want to go that far. I just think it's a personal choice at the end of the day, and if people want to consume that kind of stuff, hey man, it's your body. You're gonna fuck it up in the
mean,
long term, but that's your
You could
choice.
start applying that to everything, though. Then why not make
Yeah, where does it
possession of
end?
meth legal, possession of
Where
heroin,
does that end?
possession of metamorphic? Why not?
It ends because
It's
certain
all-
drugs are public health concern. Traditionally, we are okay with marijuana
So is
use because
moonshine.
Yeah.
No one noticed.
People go blind.
meth,
Sit down.
PCP, metamorphine, bath salts, whatever you want to call it. People tweak out on this shit and they go on fucking rampages, okay? People are okay with the weed because people just chill out in their fucking house and smoke it all day or pop their edible or whatever the fuck they do. I have yet to see an example of people getting just wasted on moonshine and just going out and committing a tear on it. You know, if we're saying what
You've
kind
never
of...
been to West Virginia, then?
You're right, I haven't, which is why I'm giving my opinion based off of my experiences
Admin
on
throw
this
up.
council. I'm saying I'm saying that in terms of the effects of it on your body and what it causes to the general public is much closer to weed and cigarettes than it is to meth.
Right, correct. But the part that I'm not concerned about the individual making the action. I'm concerned about if you have a large population of consumers where it is decriminalized, and then you make it, extremely expensive and highly regulated to be part of the manufacturing process for a decriminalized substance, much like, I don't know, marijuana. You then run into a situation where it is more profitable to hire a bunch of goons with illegally tampered firearms to operate a ring out of grapeseed to produce marijuana and moonshine than it is to be a regulated part of the economy.
Yoink.
And I think that by encouraging a decriminalized populace for a criminal substance, you are essentially encouraging that criminal gang network activity.
So, what do we think is a reasonable time and fine for the manufacturing of the moonshine?
I'm completely
Juno,
open
Pep
to
W.
Anyone's thoughts on that. So
What is the charge for cultivation? It's a felony. That's 25 months, $940. What is the charge for?
So in manufacturing charge, you have set to fall higher. It looks
Yeah,
like
we can-
just
we-
a similar, yeah.
yep.
You have a company? Yeah, I had
Right now,
Yeah.
felony possession with
coffee.
intent to distribute for drugs is $10,000, 150 months.
Bevo.
These are
Bevo.
offenses against public health and morals, which is where this would follow.
Right.
Forgery of medical documents, 2,000. Cultivation of marijuana, 1,000. Prostitution, 2,500.
I'd say that since we're not arguing an intent to sell or anything, it probably doesn't need to be nearly as high as felony intent. So probably closer to cultivation. My thoughts.
Like 1,500 maybe is in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Time would Looks like offenses against public health and morals were averaging anywhere between
25 and 45 months.
Yeah, the outliers are down there under 10. The outliers are above 50. So 25,
So-
45, so 30,
30.
35 months, something like that.
Yeah.
35, 1500.
Okay. Can anybody disagree with that?
No, I think that's good. I
Nope.
don't think that's too overbearing at all.
I'm good with that.
If it's ever a problem, it could be reassessed later. It's a good
Okay, I will create that charge now. I'm gonna go through Nakota your council doc and just marked which things get enacted.
That's absolutely fine.
What's the next charge on the list?
Robbery of a security firm. For 50 months, 5K fine.
Do we not have a suitable charge? Is there not anything that fits Nakota?
I mean,
Isn't that just like Isn't it just aggravated theft or whatever it's
you
called?
you could define what happens to them at the vault as something already on the books. I think what Nakota's trying to push for is a harsher charge.
I'll be honest. I'm looking to get more specificity in these because it always seems like how do I say this?
-1 not drunk. Can't roleplay drunk.
The G6 robbery, that's
So-
aggravated petty robbery, isn't it?
My thoughts are, why would this be more of a fine than robbery of a financial institution?
Well, no, we can again. I'm open to adjusting charges and whatnot. My main
Yeah, fair
concern is to
Make the ATF into Waco
identify
RP would
things that
actually
are
be.
becoming more prominent and making
Dude,
sure that
what if
they're addressed,
XQCL
like,
2009
directly.
is just Sidewinder?
This is just aggravated petty robbery.
Is that a charge?
Yes.
Aggravated petty robbery?
On his alt account,
Yes, it's
dude.
currently at like 36 months and something. I don't know what the fine is, but it's basically when you
Honestly,
use weapons to rob it.
The comments are not nearly quality enough. I mean, Sidewinder has some duds usually.
So it's
Or,
36
like,
months.
I'd say like
and a
40% of the
$1,400
time.
fine.
Like 20% of the time, it's duds.
Yeah, and if you're robbing a group 6 worker,
Well, that's bound to
you're
happen
probably
with-
robbing 2 to 4 of them. Times that by 4.
How many comments
4, I guess.
that he gets posted?
Well,
Does it stack
yeah,
individually?
Malton, if you were coming into the cells and I was charging someone with 4 times aggravated petty robbery
Oh,
for
they'd
4
find that.
individuals, would you
Yeah.
let me do that, or would you make an argument against that?
For each individual, or would it just be for the
Am I planning on
incident
pitching the
itself?
standardization
Are
of
they
time
robbing-
My
act?
job
Yes.
as an attorney and argue it, Dakota. It just says you should do your job as a cop and push the charges you think are relevant. If you think a 4 times applies, you should definitely push it. If I don't, I should definitely push against it. And then if they want to contest it, that's what the courts are for. So I wouldn't stand for it, but that's my job as a
Okay.
defense attorney to not stand for it.
Well, I'm asking you as a city councilman, not as a defense attorney right now.
Oh, well, then if you're asking me as a councilman, I think that according to the charge, it says just one person. So,
Everyone
yes,
tilted? He's not
everyone-
tilted.
They should get 4x by the definition of the law if they rob 4 Group 6 workers.
What if they're only taking items out of the back of a vehicle?
I'm
Can you argue
dead
that?
still, yo.
And you argue it.
Okay.
Nakota, I think what Malton's getting at is that there is a constant push and pull between the DOJ and PD, as has been forever, where PD wants everything spelled out perfectly so that there is no argument either way, and DOJ wants laws that are created with the understanding that the legislative body puts ideas into place and the judicial wing establishes the parameters of those ideas.
Yeah, but you see, like, they don't look. No offense, Dakota, you sound very educated, but most cops haven't graduated like high school and shit, so they need it spelled out for them.
Well, they can just lose in court if they haven't put in the effort to know what they're doing.
I also, this is, obviously I'm an advocate for the DOJ here, but if someone isn't going to make
Dr.
use of the
Cornwood
rights that are known
Esquire.
for them, I mean, stupidity goes both ways. If a cop is too stupid to push a charge, that's one thing. But also, if the suspect is too stupid to get a lawyer to contest those charges, that's also on them.
Okay, this is an excellent discussion. I'm not trying to cut anyone off, but we have a lot of shit to get through today. What's the main takeaway from this whole discussion?
I think robbery of a security
Or
firm
still-
already exists in
Yeah.
aggravated petty robbery.
All right,
It's necessary.
let's do a quick vote because it seems contentious. Do we enact robbery of a security firm, blah 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 person thing?
Nay.
I vote yay. Nakota?
I vote yay.
Nay.
Nay.
Mr. Crane?
What's the time and fine of the aggravated petty robbery?
36 months and $1,400 fine.
I think if you remove the okay, I think that much like robbery of a financial institution, I'd be okay with this charge if we made it a blanket charge for the ease of police. So
Okay.
for Mr. Thoroughbed's interpretation, in the past we used to have bank robberies. Cops would need to charge for the joyridden vehicle, the possession of a gun, the possession of drugs, the hostage, the reckless evading, the potentially all those things, right? And what we did was we made one charge that encompasses the entire act. So, for example, we could make a higher time, higher fine charge like robbery of a security firm that just made it so that literally everything involved with robbing Group 6 would be one charge. So if you're caught robbing
I
Group
never
6,
actually
you
asked
just
Crane
get
to vote
the
last,
one
by the
charge,
way.
that's it. It's high time, high fine. It's easy for the cop. The only time that would change is if it got violent and there was, let's say, a stabbing or a shooting, and then everything would be broken out. I would be okay with that, with the understanding that part of the all-inclusive charge would be the inclusion of the possession of the cash. Therefore, we could implement both charges. So the cash would be just, let's say you arrest someone for joyriding or they're speeding or something and it's not their car, and then you find cash on them accidentally, you could still charge them and use that charge. But if you find them with the cash as part of the robbery of a security firm, then you would not use that charge.
Yeah,
I'm fine with making it an umbrella.
I would be okay with that as well.
I think that I like that better. Is it still?
I was
okay,
hoping Dakota
so
wouldn't back
under
down.
robbery of a financial institution, part of it is even just or commit a felony that may affect economic or institutional stability. Could this not be an overarching charge?
There was already a long debate
That's
about
what robbery
that.
of financial is, yeah.
Exactly. Like, could it not apply?
Good question.
to
Why isn't that
these?
being
'Cause
used
it-
for Group 6?
Yeah, 'cause it's commit a
because
felony that may
it
affect
was
economic or institutional
tried.
stability.
Yeah.
an
All
or
I
there.
can say is there was a lot of semantics about where they actually were when they were robbed.
Yeah, but there's an or. That's what gets me. Like, the first part, sure. You know, it's-
Institutional stability.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Any person or group who enter a financial institution.
or there's an.
If I'm out front of the vault, like, and this is actually a question that I'll ask all of you because I had this question presented to me as well. If I'm out in front of the vault in my Group 6 van and I'm taking the pallets off the truck, but I'm not in the vault yet, or I'm not in the front
Yeah,
door
because
of
this was
the
written
vault,
when we didn't have cash transits. Okay.
Right.
So, do we want to just rewrite robbery of financial to make it so the wording includes Group 6? Is that easier?
I
That would
don't
probably
mind
be
that at
easier,
all.
I
yeah.
don't mind
be-
that. Fuck it.
Because
yeah.
at the end of the day, as far as I'm aware, Group 6 is transporting cash for the banks.
Okay, so let's just change the language. Is anybody not okay with change the language? Max, what do you think?
I don't care, being honest. I kind of liked it the way that Nakota initially proposed, but then you spoke and everyone kind of changed their mind.
Well, I will say, Mayor, that one of the reasons why I wrote it the way I did was because there was contentious conversations within PD about whether or not robbing a Group 6 truck was robbery of a financial.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
like
why I wrote it like that.
clarifying that.
But if we're going, if everyone
No,
is
no,
okay
hold on.
with it,
No. I think there's
Bro,
something we haven't
we're
thought of.
stirring right now.
Yeah.
If we use robbery of financial and we change the definition, and then let's say down the road these guys
The
get more
chair
capable and more
screams.
audacious, and they rob the actual city vault,
Derailed
there's no way
again.
that should be the same time and fine.
I agree.
So we.
I think it's a
We're
good
back to
idea.
just-
I think the overall encompassing charge is a good idea. Plus, once again, no offense, Dakota, but most cops are fucking stupid, and this would make it a lot easier for them to do their job.
Okay, I'll whip up language that makes it all inclusive.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, are we all in agreement that an all-encompassing charge for this particular crime is a good idea? Any nays? All right, unanimous. Good. Let's keep this ball fucking rolling. I believe Mr. Simone was interrupted in regards to his drip act.
Well, I guess we were talking about it. But, it seems like it's some people are for it, some people are against it. Again, I'm not trying to be the fashion police. I'm just trying to make it so people wear the appropriate attire when they're doing their job. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I think the best point Simone made here is that it's a matter of public safety.
Right.
To assist the police officers in identifying the threat. If there is, for example, there's a fuck ton of Group 6 robberies, there's a fuck ton of sanitation robberies and people taking people hostage on the fucking street just trying to do their job. It helps them identify the threat with a little bit of gentle urging in the way of a fine if they don't do it from the government. I think it's a great idea.
I'm okay with piling on the regulate the Group 6 workers, given their economic status, shall we say.
Okay.
But, other state runs, I'm like really on the fence about.
So
yeah,
what you're
I'm
saying
not
is
trying
that
to
we
see people in mini skirts and stilettos cutting down trees, though. So, like, I get that. Yeah,
Well,
anything
it's
that
either
requires
or.
like a hazardous environment, you want to have the proper attire. So yeah, I get
We're
that.
not enacting EPA. Should we really be enacting OSHA?
I tend to agree. Like, it just becomes who decides that, Like, some things are obviously absurd, but what if a cop decides that something that's a little bit ambiguous is too much, so they charge someone with it and
Take it to court.
everyone else?
Yeah,
I mean,
if someone's in the police force is
for
overstepping their
1K?
bounds, well, people go to traffic court all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of.
Yeah, but like traffic court, it's usually a lot more cut and dry. They just need proof of whether or not they're speeding or not. Like,
you take a picture of the outfit, you bring it.
Fashion.
Then
I suppose
the
so.
judge
Cops,
becomes the
judges
fashion
literally
judge.
become fashion police.
Yeah, hey, look,
That's
man, fuck
crazy.
it, fuck it, dog, fuck it.
That is pretty fun.
But at
yeah.
fashion court?
I mean, if
Fashion
it
court.
becomes an
Would be
issue, we can always
entertaining.
revisit it, right?
I have the perfect judge for fashion court.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
There's this guy Jerome Henry Jackson. I don't know if you met him.
I met,
Oh
I,
my
I, I met
God.
Jerome.
I
I
don't
met
like
Jerome.
Jerome could run fashion court in his sleep.
He absolutely could. Oh yeah, fuck it. Why not?
All right,
honestly?
if this turns out to be too draconian or the cops are too inept to actually enforce this, we can revisit this. But for now, let's give it a fucking shot. All on the Drip Act. Any nays?
No.
Motion
with
passes
it
7
as
to
is.
1. Wait, what'd you say, Philippa?
I was just saying, I'll go with it as is. Fuck it, we can test it out.
Okay.
I like giving things a try.
Yeah, if you read the last part, it's up for amendment or revisiting
Exactly.
or revisions,
I mean,
etc.
we
Like,
gotta
there's
get-
nothing
we gotta
set in
get Mike's
stone,
back
so,
on this
if
whole
we,
meeting,
If we
dude.
feel like it's too much or too little, it can be changed.
I mean, fuck, I have to shut down our doctors wearing dumb shit way too often. So, I get it.
As long as I don't have to oversee Reed's fashion court, I'm a yay.
Oh, God.
Nah, you'll be fine. I'll do that.
Okay,
I'll chew him the fuck up.
7 to 1. The Drip Act
Perfect.
passes.
Yeah, sure. Fuck
Hey, by the way, I had to change the language, so just make sure you're all on the same page on this. It said, or possession of any Group 6 worker. I changed it to any Group 6 worker who is currently on duty making a secured financial delivery.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Because I don't want them being like, well, I got
I
robbed
work
and
for
I'm a
Group
Group
6.
6 guy. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
No, that's not how that works.
Okay, next, Mike.
Yeah, so the other one is the VDM mandate. It's Crane. Do you remember when we removed the charts where cops could basically
100%
charge
treat
if you
someone
were
like he's in
missing
your
a door,
cabinet?
bonnet,
Dude.
whatever, if your vehicle was
has
I
never
remember that one.
in my time, I don't know if that's ever existed.
We gotta
That may have
back 'em
been
up.
before my time.
It was before.
So I've already read
that
I've
was
already
a
read
very
this
long time
one.
ago. So I actually
And
have
these guys tend to
questions
yammer on a
about
little
this,
bit, so
especially
I'm gonna go
given,
pee real quick.
I don't know, the current state of things. Like, not to be that person, but headaches, bubbles, things of that nature.
That
you
doesn't
know?
matter. No.
That should
So
not
just-
ever be
Like
part of our
how-
discussion.
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
not. Okay, so
Like how
At first-
how yeah.
okay. At first, I had it in there that if you're missing a door specifically for a G6 vehicle or a grime truck, because they are transporting shit, and if they're missing a door, that means they don't care about their job, and people just run up and snatch shit. I've removed that, meaning that if you're driving a vehicle, that gives the PD a how the fuck did I say it again? A plausible? No, that's not it.
It gives them a reason for a stop. is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
Basically, that they can use that your shit bucket is missing doors, bonnets, whatever, and they can just make the
Okay.
assumption based on that you're not taking care of your vehicle.
Mhm.
That gives them a reason to look under the hood. So we're not charging them for driving a shit bucket that looks like shit, but we're looking at the interior. Is it interior? Fuck, I'm cooked. We're looking at the parts in the car. So brakes, engine,
Internal
etc.
mechanical
That's the
integrity
one,
is the word.
We're looking under the hood.
basically, because we're not charging them for driving a car with missing doors. We're charging them for not taking care of their vehicle. In the long run, say, and again, I hate the fact that I have to use percentage, but the current tool will tell you that your vehicle is in bad condition when it's 75% or below.
Mhm.
And it hurts my soul. But that's it's between 50 to 75%. That's bad condition, quote unquote. I feel like that's too much.
That's when you're driving around with like a smoking engine and
No.
it's going to catch fire, right?
No. The smoking engine is if you drive like a psycho and you keep hitting shit, at some point it's gonna start smoking. But
Right.
you can still, in theory, look under the hood, and your car is, in theory, still okay. So you would not get charged for that. Obviously, your car shouldn't be smoking. You should go to mostly just have that fixed or have somebody look at it. But it is it's a more fair way to charge people for not taking care. In this case, it's only work vehicles as a start, but it's to make sure that people take care of it. Like if you drive around with shut out brakes, at some point you won't be able to brake and you're going to hit somebody, or you're going to send it over, somebody jaywalking, even though it might be legal now. It's stuff like that. If your frame is bent, that is dangerous. Like, it's all the small things. Engine is about to fucking blow up, catching on fire. You might take out the mayor. You might randomly be there as your car catches on fire and explodes.
Are they towing it if it's a bad condition? 'Cause I see here it's just like warnings being issued at the bottom.
No, it's not being towed. So I made it into a 3 warning system. The first time they get a warning, they have to get it sorted in a week, basically. Because again, it's bad condition, but it's not terrible or extreme bad condition. So it's to the point where you need to get it fixed, because it could get worse. And then if you get caught a second time without having it fixed, that's when we, at $1,500 fine and 2 points. Again, these are just kind of placeholder numbers, so.
Now cops are mechanics and fashion.
No. Because if you keep reading, it says that they have to call a mechanic to check it. If there's no mechanic available, they can use a tool to check current status, have to make sure they document it, then go from there. That is the biggest issue with that mandate right now. Do PD pay the mechanics, or is PD able to use? Because all they do is just plug a tool in that reads the error codes.
Mm-hmm.
Like even PD could do that, but at the same time, you would make sure you have a professional to do it first, right? But who's paying for that? Is it PD that pays the mechanics for the reading, or?
I guess my question, this is like specifically towards Dakota. Like, don't you want to try to keep people off scenes? Like, are you guys really going to be wanting to call and wait for basically a third-party mechanic to get there to make things more complicated and trust their readout?
Yeah, well, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I like the idea of this.
Yeah.
But I think given especially right now, the current state of car repair prices and whatnot, I think it's a little. We need to do something about that before we can put more pressure on mechanics.
Yes, I get that, but while I was writing this, I was writing it in the mindset that this is a thing that we can make sure, to people that they keep. I get that the prices are going up and they keep going up, but while writing this, that is not my problem. Because, and don't get me wrong, I get your point, but the prices of parts go up and down. If I wrote this 2 weeks ago, the prices probably wouldn't have been a problem.
Did they talk to me? I don't think so, right?
And maybe the price is going to go back down in 2 weeks. We don't know.
Dude, my desk is
I think if people can't afford car ownership, I think that's very unfortunate for them. But,
not a single time.
Maximilian Angel runs a taxi service, right?
Right. But then,
headphones you use?
Okay.
Sennheiser HD 650, I think.
What about the emergency services vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
So if I work a couple of hours and get my ambo repaired at the end of my shift,
what chair do you use?
Sometimes, a one
Steelcase
across
League
is going
V2?
to cost me $1,500, and I've just literally worked to fix my ambo.
What gaming dildo do I use?
I get that it's a problem at this current time. If I use that as a thing when I'm writing something, then I might as well just not write it.
I'm just saying, like, this is what
Based?
we're going to hear if
Yes.
we push this. So
I know. And we can always wait till we think the prices are better.
I love
if that's,
streaming.
the way to go about it.
And I love my
But if we are
family. And
using
I
the
love my
prices
Twitch chat.
that are fluctuating.
I'm
going
feeling
up and
really
down,
love right now.
Will
Can we get some love in
now
the chat?
be
Some
a problem
hearts, dude.
down the line, maybe not, and then maybe it'll be a problem again, because we are not in control of the prices. They are.
I hear what you're saying.
I like the legislation. The one thing I would change in order to get me personally on board with this is instead of making it like a third-party mechanic, leave it completely up to
No, I've not been
the
drinking
LEOs,
Discord.
shall we say? And if internally they want to have like mechanic deals or have like a specific like police designating mechanic, like I think that's all on them to implement. I just think the logistics of calling people up, holding someone, detaining someone for 5 to 10 minutes just to get their car checked, I think that's a little unreasonable. But I think if PD have a tool, or if they have someone on their force who is trained on speed dial to come by, I think that's all perfectly fine.
Counterpoint, we already enacted legislation that detains like truck drivers and stuff for 10 to 15 minutes while their cargo manifest gets checked.
I think though I think checking a cargo manifest, that's all something that the PD does, and that's why I'm okay with this is all being a PD procedure. I just think the times might get a little too much for a standard
Some
stop
freaking hearts,
when you're
dude.
moving in third-party mechanics and just scrolling through the yellow pages. If it's all an internal PD thing and it's just on the radio, hey, any certified mechanics, or however the PD want to implement it, right? I think that's fine. I just don't like bringing third parties onto scenes.
That is fine, and that is a valid concern. And I basically just wrote it the way I did to cover everything, because I felt like having PD do it themselves, somebody's going to complain, and that's why I just wrote it in there.
500 kg
Can we
limit.
make it like a little simpler, like just like a fix it thing, like PD has the authority to basically under the act fine people for not having a roadworthy vehicle, but they also are instructed they have the discretion to give them a warning to go fix it, and if they see them again with it, they'll charge them. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine too. That's how it was. I think I wrote it the first time around, and then I made it into a 3-strike system, and I forgot who I talked to about it.
I think we keep shit simple, personally.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Does
I'm
anyone
fine with
have
that.
the
entire
Bowser
point is just that they
farting
should
gif?
fix their vehicle. If it's a shit bucket and looks like a shit bucket, they're probably not fixing their shit, and they should. That was kind of the end of it. Again,
I get it for that reason. Yeah,
it's limited to work vehicles
many
right now,
people
but
in
in theory, it could be
Discord.
rolled out to be all vehicles.
So is the
No!
I mean, I'm fine with that too. Is the consensus then to try and
Epic embed fail.
pull this all down to like a 1-paragraph unroadworthy vehicle charge like back in the day? Then is that
I think it worked because on-road-worthy vehicle didn't work back in the day because you could see one thing in the exterior and somebody could see something else. This is internally, and then that's the same for everybody, meaning that now we can actually crack.
Warning to overlay mods: do not show that on stream. Let me take that bullet.
Correct.
Okay.
Wait, what? Sorry, I missed something. What internal components?
Like the actual engine parts, the brakes, the transmission, things like that, instead
Yeah, they're
of
not
like
checking
focusing more on like the doors and hood and stuff like that.
The reason we're using that crane as the baseline is because, like, you can walk up to a car, you can see that something is wrong, and I might not see that, but the internals will be the same for you and for me.
The exterior condition is the RS for the stock.
Do you know, kind
and
of
then
quiet?
the
She doesn't need to
charge
talk right
is,
now.
I
I don't
guess,
need to
like,
talk right now.
easy to check the internals and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, in order for a vehicle to get down to the levels that this is talking about, you really have to be negligent with.
You say that. As I was writing this, I was out checking a garbage truck that was sitting around 50.
And I bet that, garbage truck has never seen a repair
I'm not
shop.
gooning.
No, and that's why, like, this is extreme. And again, it can be tweaked. I just threw
Is
some
your
numbers in
at-home
there
wife
that I
jealous
think was
of your
all
RP
right.
wife?
If we go by
No,
the standard
man.
that a part is a bad condition, that would mean 50 to 75%.
Yeah,
Anything like in
that's
between that
terrible.
range, which is quite a big.
I
gap.
agree. Yeah, I was just saying it to like reassure people if they were having it, because it's not like a.
I'm not drunk.
It's not like if I went out for an 8-hour shift and then I went back to PD and I checked how my engine was looking, it wouldn't be remotely close to anything that this would suggest. So it's not
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a finicky thing if that makes sense, Etta.
Bevo.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Bevo.
Yeah, having it explained that way, yeah. No, I'm for it. If we like narrow it down.
Yep. So if we simplify it, we use the old charge of on-roadworthy vehicle, and then
I have index for 7.
obviously
What
make
does
some
PIVO
changes, I
stand
guess.
for? Is it just like drink in a different language?
Would this be the equivalent of like
Thought
a
my gorilla
traffic
cheeks for 7
citation
stands for
then?
beer?
And they,
Is it
you know, they
Finnish?
just keep getting caught with it. They just keep stacking it.
Oh, it's beer in Russian.
Is it?
Yeah, honestly, I mean that makes
I would
sense.
say yes.
Yeah, just keep charging them until they get it fixed.
That's fair.
So would we do one warning and then second offense still would be?
We don't
a
have to
fine
listen
and,
to this really
I think
because
it's on
we're
discretion,
here
right?
That's where
supporting
PD
Mike
discretion is,
right
yeah,
now.
like you get traffic warnings all the time, you know.
Well, no, I'm just saying it because it is literally spelled out in here. I'm trying to figure out if we're going to break from this or if we're going to keep it similar. That's what my question was.
Bread, mayo, fish, mayo, cheese. Bread, mayo, fish, mayo,
Like
cheese.
we're adjusting it based on the
For
success
section
rating.
for section
It's
3, that was
Polish?
my only thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, we're
simplification
changing
of
that.
it.
Okay, then I'm
features.
fine with it being discretion, so I have no issue with that. I just wanted to make sure I was following correctly.
Yep. So TLDR is that we are changing it, so it's not a 3-strike. It is at the PD's discretion, whoever pulled them over. And it's... Are we keeping the percentage?
I know nothing about.
yeah, I
mechanics,
know
Yeah,
I'll
nothing
be
to that,
honest,
I-
that's
Accommodation
hands
system
up.
up. We're always getting
60
good
seems
legislation acronyms.
Ridiculously low, so I feel like
I
that
got
It
one.
is.
fair.
In all my time as a mechanic previously, I very rarely ever saw vehicles
Stupid.
that low. So if
65.
people are holding a relatively, regular schedule for their maintenance, then they'll never get that low.
All right. Well, in that case, I'd say we up it to 65 and feel like it might be a sweet spot. And then that's about it.
Play around with it, and I guess Nakota can come back with feedback in a couple
Yep.
sessions with
Yep.
how it's going.
Absolutely.
All right.
Really quick, since
Yeah.
we wrapped the. Oh, let's do the vote first. Sorry.
All
Max,
in
it's on you.
favor.
Yay.
Oh,
Yay.
sorry. Oh, sorry. Let's do it this way. All not in favor. The motion passes. Unanimous.
Real quick, okay. So on the updated charge proposal document, I've enacted the manufacturing moonshine, the robbery security firm, and the possession security firm cash. Those are. I've normalized the fines. So what I've done is robbery security firm is $60,000 and $6,000 is the all-in. But then what I've done is I've escalated the financial institution to 100 months, $10,000. to scale, comparing to security firm versus the bank itself. And then I've written the umbrella. If anyone can like logic check what I've done for the umbrella charges, I think it makes sense, but I may have missed something, so please help me if you see anything. And then possession of security firm cash. I don't know anything about what forms they take. What is Group 6 rolled cash? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we found that on people.
So it has like a tag for Group 6 on it?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So those three, tampering with an HVAC/turbine unit. I don't.
Siobhan needs to be in these meetings. She's right behind me. She's doing.
What
she's doing
is
good.
that crime, Dakota? Can you?
These are crimes where we're getting suspicious. Grandma calls us and says that she's seeing some suspicious activity. We respond. Typically, when we show up on scene, there will be a very loud alarm going off. If we're there sometimes too late. If we get there early, typically we'll see someone on a rooftop or multiple people on a rooftop. They are visibly tampering with something. Sometimes it's an HVAC unit, sometimes it's a turbine unit. They then remove forcefully parts from inside said unit and attempt to flee.
Can't just to like get to the butt of this.
Does he have the white hair ever talk all the time?
That trial the other day.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thought on it, to be honest.
I don't know if it made its way up to Ukraine, but Hallow had a bench trial around all this, and the general consensus was, we could just retool the stolen goods charge to kind of include this kind of stuff as an option instead of an entirely new charge.
Instead of valuable goods.
Yes, just make a possession of stolen goods.
Yeah, I will say my goal with that charge again was a more umbrella-esque charge instead of charging
valuable
someone with
goods,
5 different crimes. If they're found to be engaging in this activity, they just get 1 charge.
And text on your 30th birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Sorry for not texting you, man. I don't have your phone number.
The Group 6 one I think I get because I've seen all the reports and I've had people come to me about the epidemic of that, but is this really a big enough deal that we need an umbrella charge for HVAC tampering?
This is the most common crime that is occurring in the city at the moment.
He's right.
I will agree with Nakota, but disagree about the implementation. I think that instead of a whole new charge of that, you just retool the existing charge of possession of stolen goods to cover the HVAC systems.
So the acts, you charge them for the trespassing, vandalism, theft,
correct,
reckless evading, resisting, and then if they're found with these outside of the act, we implement the possession of stolen parts.
Correct, because whenever you find these parts, we have not found one instance where there weren't signs that they were forcefully removed from the unit.
Anybody against me changing possession of stolen goods to be more generic to encompass things like HVAC units?
I'm for that.
Yeah, that I'm for.
Okay, I will do that now.
Yeah.
Sick.
I make things easier, Crane, if you literally just change it to stolen goods.
How did we get to stolen goods from the VDM Act?
You don't really need to specify like HVAC systems or anything like that unless you want to.
It happened while I was AFK. Okay. So what about the vehicle distinguishability and maintenance mandate?
We already voted on that one.
Into a traffic charge.
Yeah, it was unanimous.
Sick. Okay.
We kind of lessened it slightly, so now it's up to cop discretion and all that. But it did pass in its current form.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we simplified it. Yeah.
Next is Malton's lawyer-employee reclassification. Malton?
One sec, let me just read the language real quick.
Sure.
Possession of stolen goods for the purpose of this charge, items will qualify as stolen if they are known by police to be
Sleepy
targeted
Max
for
moment.
theft, and the possessor does not have proof of ownership.
Okay.
because I don't want PD being like, you don't have proof that you bought this bandage. Ha ha ha. So that should cover it.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, just moving on to my proposal. I think it's pretty straightforward. Essentially, lawyers are not government employees currently for a variety of reasons that we discussed in the past that I mostly agree with. However, I do think they should be considered government employees, specifically when they are at City Hall or a police station. The reason being that when lawyers are there, they're usually there on government business. I think that if someone is targeting a police station or City Hall, I think the expectation is people in there usually are government employees. I think the script is flipped a little bit. Just as we feel that it's not obvious that someone is a lawyer if they're just out and about or at senior buns. I think it's more likely than not that someone is a lawyer if they're doing legal stuff at City Hall or at the police station or something like that. And that's why I'm seeking the classification in these two specific locations only.
You caps lock or shift? I use shift.
I don't know enough about lawyers to have a best opinion on if it's necessary. So if anyone's got anything,
I think I think it's just for me. I'm not pushing this because it's like an epidemic or anything like that. This is more for standardization with other government employees. The only reason they're not right now is except the niche situations that we talked about in the past, where they could be out and about in town but still technically a lawyer. But I think that if they're at City Hall, if they're at the police station, then I think it's much more obvious that they're government workers at that point.
And so essentially, whether or not they'd get attempted murder of a government employee versus
correct. Basically, this would mean if you target City Hall or a police station, this kind of kicks in, I guess, with what you were saying, Max, with maybe getting things more strict at City Hall.
It's terrible.
And you rob a person in the suit. I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that person is a government employee of some sorts. And, we already do it for the county clerks. I believe Alex told me the other day that county clerks are technically classified as government employees when they're behind that desk. I think that courtesy should be extended to lawyers, once again, within City Hall or police station. And you can play around with the wording a little bit, but I think it's even fine to say when they're within the building of City Hall or the building of a police station. If they're like out front by the fountain, maybe that's still the old definition. But I think as a way to help with the standardization, we could start drawing the line once you're indoors of City Hall and PD.
Agree. Let's vote on it. This is pretty clear cut. All in favor of classifying lawyers as government employees for the purpose of penal reasons, should they be accosted in City Hall and in a police station. Any disagreeers?
I don't think I know enough to really disagree, so if you guys like it.
You could always abstain if you'd like, but yeah, I hear you.
No, I'll vote with y'all. I just, I'm not against it.
Sounds like no nays. Unanimously passed.
Yeah, sure.
My wife thanks you.
Hell yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, I guess that was, that makes sense.
I just want to make sure the lawyer classification thing was passed.
Indeed.
Yes, it is. And just specifically, I don't know what I said in the wording here, but it's only when you're in the interior of City Hall or police station. Like, it's not just the grounds of it. You have to specifically be in an interior.
Honestly, y'all can wander around. It's not like any lawyer's immune to being targeted just because they're signed on duty or something.
All good. I just want to make sure the note said it.
So I have enacted everything that we've discussed in terms of the new charges under Nakota's list. I have implemented everything. I've adjusted times and fines accordingly. The only one that was suggested as a new charge that we did not discuss that I want to resolve real quick is criminal possession of firearm components. Is anyone against me enacting that charge?
I'm against it as a new charge. I think it should just be wrapped in with weapon attachments at the current time and fine. Especially if you're charging them on like a per component or per attachment level. That
so your suggestion is I change the name from weapon attachments to firearm components, and then make the language generic to include scopes, extended
Components
magazines,
and
as well
attachments.
as
Yeah,
slides,
everything is in
receivers,
there
etc.
currently, plus weapons components.
Anybody against that idea?
I'm for it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, I will do that. And then just to disclose to the council, the other items that Nakota has suggested that are more reclassification or whatever we want to call it, penal code balancing, I'll work with the DOJ to examine and take them on in good faith.
Okay. Could I just beg that we vote on making criminal possession of a class 1 a felony, please, in the current moment? So right now it's a misdemeanor.
I was very surprised by that. But I'm
that's a holdover
law
from
professional here.
that's a holdover.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, especially if we're wanting to go strict on gun charges in the beginning. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with implementing
felonies have
as
a lot
you've
of
written
weight.
it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so I will.
Out of
I'll
character,
mark
I'm for
which
that. I don't know
things are
if
implemented, which
I would
things are
be
under
in
review
character for it though.
Do we want to get through the unresolved from the last meeting, or do we want to get through the new items?
I'm going through the reports right now. Once we get through here, we can go through stuff that was kind of skipped over in the last meeting.
All right, sounds good.
We got the proposal for City Hall running pass program. Michael.
It's I don't know if it's a final or is it still work in progress. It's basically just we make money off the fucking people that keep running through fucking City Hall.
Yeah.
Do like money.
Does the money go to the state?
Either that or the person that, whichever we're fine with.
I'm fine with it if it goes to the state.
All right,
like
goes to the state.
It could be one of those things where the majority goes to the state and only a small portion goes to the person issuing the fee.
That already exists.
Yeah, cops will still get the 15%, Juno.
So if a clerk issues that license, then they'll get 15%.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's good.
Crane, if you issue a license, is it permanent or is it for X amount of time?
It depends on the license.
Okay, so we could set all right. So we could basically set it to a week, and they would have to buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're talking about having actual back-end support on the MDT for these?
I don't know. What is the easiest way to go about it?
That's not very difficult.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a way to have them automatically expire?
Correct. That is how some things work already.
Cool. Okay. That's sick.
Easy as.
Actually, you know what? It's kind of a small amount of money.
I was about to say we could actually up that.
Well, hold on, no. What I mean is instead of the money going to the state, why not just give it to the person issuing the thing?
Because I would prefer they use the
systems
the
to fill in
billing
place.
the bank account.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to have to oversee my clerks taking cash from people.
Yeah, or if you don't do that, the judges.
I
have
trust
to, like,
the clerks,
pay a
but
weekly.
Alex, your thoughts, given that you are the chief clerk?
I think it's honestly easier to just bill.
If new players can't join the server / world, how can you expand anything? New people can
I
join.
mean,
It's
look,
just
there's a lot
hard.
of Group 6 people running in there. That 15% can stack up real quick.
That could be good.
Every week.
Yeah, I'm good with the whole idea. I would rather keep it formal.
Yeah,
it also allows us to track the actions.
Is with this, I didn't read through the whole thing, but if someone is running without a pass, is that just like a citation? Like what?
That's the only thing. We're just
going
gonna have to be aware that enforcement is gonna be null and void. Basically, I'm not gonna empower clerks to.
My application was perfect and was denied. I bet it was you.
No.
So if
I don't know if
we'll have to train them on this, and that'll be Alex's responsibility. But it's gonna be the kind of thing where we're gonna heavily discourage people from running by still yelling at them and threatening to call the cops, etc. But I doubt it will result in much actual enforcement.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, a cop can hang out here if they really care, I guess.
It's an easy way to make some money. It's an easy way to
New people can't join
We
Lobro.
haven't
hasn't seen
really
the
yellow
community. Yo, Max,
Yeah,
Max
that too.
met
A
Lorenzo
lot of
in
people keep saying,
Fredo
"Oh, I
2
got the
time
running
last
pass." Well,
night.
now you
hired
don't,
them
motherfucker. Let's
Yeah,
actually
now
buy
you
it.
can actually get it if you want it.
and
Yeah.
hired them to kidnap
while
and
we're
beat
on
the
the
shit out
topic
of
of, like,
Vivek and Jesse
courthouses
Adler.
and fines associated with it.
And
Dakota,
then
are
Jesse
people,
Adler and like 4 other people ran up and
are
tried to take
cops
us
doing
hostage
that,
like
commercial
5 minutes
charging pad?
after I
It's been a few
hired
weeks
them.
now since they implemented that. Is that charge being used? Are you guys swamped, or are people still just parking?
But
and not
Siobhan and
giving a
Max
fuck?
were on a motorcycle, so we
People
drove
are
away
issuing
because they
them.
only had knives.
I did.
And then we called the police.
One thing I did want to bring up is like the tier 3 group 6 trucks.
And then
the
Lorenzo and
Grime,
Fredo,
like whatever the largest,
even though they were
16-wheeler
hostages,
or 18-wheeler that they drive. Anywhere where they picked
ended up getting arrested because they
deliveries,
wouldn't
it is quite
identify
literally
themselves to the
impossible
police.
for them to park
It's
legally.
so fucking funny,
They're
dude.
either blocking traffic in some capacity, or they basically
So
have to park
fucking
them.
funny, dude.
Like, yeah.
It was actually
which I've been communicating to people, but we
They
have
just
been
don't
giving
talk
out
to the cops. It's so
egregious parking infractions
I guess that's
for
what I'm saying.
commercial
Is like,
vehicles.
do you think the charge is like working its current form, or are people
Yeah,
still not giving a fuck about it?
No, I think
So, like, 5 more of them will be coming around,
are
too?
holding people accountable.
Yeah, it's gonna be
obviously
chaos.
not for the larger ones where it's like someone was making a pickup for their
Lorenzo was the one that stabbed
18-wheeler
Lenny?
for Grime.
Yeah, I found that out after the fact.
Shockingly, they parked horizontally across all the spots across the street from the bank on Legion Square, but they also paid every single meter and then went inside.
Oh, there you go.
Lorenzo
So
said to
it is
Max,
working.
he was like, "Yeah, I'm ended
Strange
up
question. Does
in
anyone
prison before I go
know
to
a
bed
list
tonight."
You know what? Never mind.
And he ended up going to fucking jail because he failed to
I think,
identify
just the-
himself.
Whatever the biggest truck is for Grime, I think they had 2 stops somewhere in the city. I think they got rid of those because of these reasons, and because big trucks like that shouldn't be driving in the city in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
So just keep that.
Is
in mind.
Lorenzo the one that
As for
yells in the cells?
Yeah. As for the other one, that's
couldn't get
not an
lawyers
issue.
because they were all conflicted. Yeah.
The group 6 thing, I've seen them drive into the garage
Door,
a lot more,
water.
which is good. But some of
Yeah,
them still
me
don't
too.
care, and they've literally said, "Well, how are they gonna catch me?" So,
Yeah.
Well, I guess then the
Kinda
fine
hitting
would be
it. I guess
irrelevant for
that's up to
those
them,
types
yeah.
of people. But
Yeah.
yeah. If it's making an impact, that's just what I'll follow up on.
Hell, if they say that, then take a picture of their fucking plate parked illegally and text it to a cop,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we'll flag it up.
Hell
because
yeah.
that's proof for a charge. So fucking
The snitch war's begun. They have.
yeah. I don't care if people are gonna park on our front lawn. Then maybe give it to them.
The first person who gets the snitch award for the adoption policy should get a medal. That's all I'm saying.
So it seems like we're all in favor of the running pass being implemented.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I tossed in a little thing in here that said a report will be drafted upon the first individual purchasing this pass where the dates and issuance of all running passes will be tracked as well as their expiration date. Didn't realize that it could be automatically removed after a certain amount of time, so I'm going to delete this real quick. I don't think there's a report necessary at that point because everything's going to be tracked on the back end.
Yep.
Nice.
Who specifically do we want to be able to issue these? Just judges and clerks?
County clerks.
Yeah, county clerks. That should be their job.
Yeah, clerks.
Okay. I'm gonna. I don't think it's actually written in there. I'm just gonna add this in real quick. Or where would be the best place to add this in?
All licenses by default are the purview of DOJ and the clerks.
So my only concern about the back end thing would be, so there is a logging system of licenses given and revoking.
Now they need a level 2 pass to allow
Is that
two-wheel
not just,
access
like,
in
kinda
City Hall.
clog that thing?
How frequently are we setting them to expire?
1
A
week
week.
is the
Every single
current
week.
legislation.
It probably should be longer than that.
So I mean,
Up the
So-
price and make it longer.
I don't know.
For example,
about-
hunting when we had hunting as an expiring license, it was I think a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
It was 60 days, Crane. Sorry for
Oh,
speaking.
60. I mean, statute of limitations is 30. We just match that. Is that fair?
I mean, do we just want to do a straight
Yeah,
increase,
that
2
seems
grand, 30
fair.
days? Like,
What do you think, Mike? This is your baby.
I'm fine with upping it. We just up the price.
that's what I'm saying,
To
just a
match.
lateral
Yeah.
increase. Yeah.
Yeah.
2,004 a month, correct?
Yep. I think it's a hard to sell, but it's probably still doable. But
I mean, that also may provide incentive for the police if they are just hanging out here. Like if someone's running, like,
Women not allowed to talk. Nice progressive game you have there.
Or they'll actually stop.
Ping them for more, yeah. Or they'll actually stop running. True.
Okay. Any nayers on the running pass? It passes. Unanimous. Very good. Next one, the business licenses. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is for the mayor's office to review and implement on our own time. I will say that Michael did a fantastic fucking job on this. I believe Juno consulted with him as well. I haven't been able to catch Juno and Mike and me in the same room in a while, obviously. So I don't think this needs to be presented at the meeting, but it is here for you guys to review. If you have any questions or concerns about it, you can direct them to Michael or I. We're both, or Juno, even if she's read it. We're all versed on it. I think it's fair. I think it is. It covers the state's ass in regards to there not being certain expectations of the state.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, what's the word? Austere.
I guess
like it. I think the process is good.
I like it. I do completely agree that it should be within the purview of the mayor's office. My only like general question for our predecessors, shall we say, or our successors rather, is currently we're all kind of on the same page about like felonies and no business licenses, but in theory, could like a future mayor's office change it? Like that'd be the only thing I'd like to hard.
I'll provide guidance on that because I know exactly how this works. I will reiterate to Max's credit, it is entirely his purview. I want to be unequivocal about that. There is no should, there is no hedging here. It is entirely the mayor's purview to deal with businesses. The only check and balance on businesses I've already discussed with Max and he understands, which is there is a feasibility and legality check that occurs at a higher government level. And all that is when he decides, after he's done his entire process of approval and review, he sends them to me and I run them by the government. That's it.
And that legality check includes the felony check, right?
That is, well, no, the felony check is me at the DOJ being told by Max.
You see why I wasn't too enthusiastic?
Issue a license to this person, charge them for a business license as they have been approved by the mayor. And at that point, as I do when I issue any license, I open up the MDT and I check the record to see if they qualify. But those are the only two checks that exist. And again, I'll be unequivocal. It is entirely his domain. So he may choose to allow us to give input, but it is his choice.
The thing that Malton's worried about is the process being edited by future mayors, right?
Opening it up
that
to
process
two
is
felons.
not open for edit.
So, can we decide now that? So this is a slippery slope that we need to be careful about.
Sorry, let me clarify which process, the felony part?
No, just the process of how the mayor oversees businesses.
The council does not determine the length or breadth of that power. That power is given straight from the federal government. The role as defined in the enacted
No, hold on.
Constitution-
You're not understanding me. What I mean is the process that the mayor employs is what was outlined by Simone. Malton is concerned that a mayor may come in and see this document and be like, actually, I want to change this and that and that and that, and blah, blah, blah.
So they could suddenly say it's like 2K for a business license instead of 50K or something.
Well, I'm fine with that. My only one hang up was the felony portion.
I
but
don't think that'll.
Yeah.
No.
Example, but yeah.
So we can throw in a little line here that no matter what, like, a future mayor can change this process if they want to. The one thing that has to remain is the no felony shit.
I don't I don't foresee that being an issue.
Okay.
All
All right. Well, then,
Fair enough.
as is, it is fine.
Then that's fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think most of
Michael,
it.
Did you? Sorry. Continue. Go.
No,
No,
I was just gonna say most of what I wrote down is basically just we have it in writing. Again, specifically because some people don't seem to get that the government will not support them. They will have to make do with the tools that are available.
Yeah, a
I
lot
know
of people
always
seem
have-
to
I
think
have
it's
two
going to be just like it
questions.
was before.
I have 2 questions with that. Did you update the report? You know how you said there were a couple things that you were going to change. Have you updated it? Or no?
Not yet.
Then my second question is I guess I don't know if it's better just to talk about it separately, but with individuals that are have ambitious goals for a business, per se, would we want to put that on hold or deny altogether, or just give the business license anyway?
That's on Max, right? And if Max thinks that the business is good, then it's pushed through. And then if they say it's not good, then that's the end of it. So if you think that's a like,
I guess I'd like to.
If they're hoping that there is a window of opportunity that they can do something that is currently unavailable, then tell them that yes, wait, it might be possible, but at the moment, it's not. If you're expecting that
What's an example of what we're talking about? Sorry, I just want to...
erecting a building for somebody, or say somebody wants to open a coffee shop. Currently, there's no way to get coffee. Is there a place to get coffee in the city?
There's no coffee beans.
Yes.
There's nothing.
It
like
is.
that.
It is the duty of the mayor's office at this time and until any foreseeable future to inform residents seeking construction or altering of any existing building or infrastructure that is not possible. Period.
Yep. There we go. Easy.
Okay.
And when that changes, the mayor's office will be the first to know.
Yes. So what you're asking, Juno, is tell them to wait. And if they're hoping that there's an opening for that, then they have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a no, and that's...
You can literally just blame the federal government, blame Crane, blame whoever you want.
I just don't
It's
see
just
the
how it is.
point in handing out licenses for, whether they meet criteria or not, or something that isn't going to be beneficial at all for the city, at least not until the foreseeable future.
You can still make a company.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's just...
Saddam
it's-
Hussein.
I don't think we can do much about it, so we just have to leave it at that.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yep.
We have the vehicle asset forfeiture policy, also drafted by Mr. Simone.
I think we need to come back to that one because I think
Yeah.
we have not established a strike system and anything.
It already is in
regards to-
place.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
it is working in the back end.
meeting. Mhm.
We can modify it potentially.
Okay.
But I will caution that, as with the previous discussion about infrastructure, the towing and impound systems may take a good while to implement changes to. So anything we come up with, we just need to be aware is not going to be an overnight thing. It may be months. I don't know.
Yeah.
Currently, the way that it works, just so everyone's educated, is that currently vehicle strikes are applied to the vehicle based on the impound reason. There are various severities, obviously, like robbery or violent crimes are the highest. Things like parking are the lowest. The strikes currently scale with the
They told
original
me in front of
MSRP of the vehicle. So if you own a $200,000 car and you reckless evade in it, it may be $20,000. If you own a $20,000 car and you reckless evade in it, it may be $5,000. That's about how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So we good on this one?
If there's an actual system in place and that system is cut and dry basically in the way it works,
Ooh,
then in
6 for
theory,
7?
yes. Then all we need to do is establish basically how many points or how many strikes they would need, and if we're actually okay with
about that, yeah.
Okay, and then if we're okay with actually seizing people's property, and if we actually want to put it up for auction, or if we just want to keep it.
In the past, what we did was when it reached 30 strikes, it would be seized for 30 days automatically. You couldn't pull it out of impound no matter how much money you paid. To my knowledge, that never occurred. The workaround people used was as soon as they got to like 28 strikes, they would sell the vehicle to a civilian who didn't care about the strikes because they weren't going to commit crime in it at a discounted rate, and then they would buy a copy of the same vehicle with no strikes on it. So if we are going to implement something that results in seizure, we would need to conceive of something that people would actually achieve without gaming the system. So
yes, I agree.
Those are the parameters. I don't have. I'm not saying I have a solution. I apologize for doing that, but
no,
a challenge.
Just a spitball.
What
Anyway,
around
I
there,
guess since it's a work in progress, but the current strike system in place, I think that works for like the fines and such because that's all automated basically. But for the forfeiture, could you maybe say like the strikes are irrelevant? It's when it's used in 3 felonies or 3 violent, something like that. Like make it not tied to
Thank you
strikes,
for
but just the number of incidents
subbing!
that the car is involved in for the government to seize it. Like strikes don't
I feel
matter.
like it's a bigger slippery slope.
It's a question of proof, right? Because, for example, my head immediately jumps to, okay, the cops go to a bank robbery, Malton's Toyota Supra is parked out front. I'm
thinking it's
robbers get in the
RuneScape
car
time,
and they
dude.
get away. There's no way the cops can prove whether it was tampered with, whatever, right? So how do we apply an incident to that vehicle?
Well, that's a gimme then. Hey, they got away in the
Yeah.
vehicle where it was actually.
I'm thinking
stolen.
it's time to
So it has to be caught.
Yeah, we have
with
to catch it.
Caught with no signs of tampering, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that the police have to be able to articulate that the owner knew.
More
it was
like
being used, but that could be,
farticulate.
many pieces of the puzzle. It could be the vehicle tampering. Is the person who was caught with it an associate of the original owner? Is there any
Vehicle not
cause to
reported stolen?
substantiate, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, like I think if you could articulate.
Oops, I logged
that
into the
owner
wrong
knew,
guy.
then it should count against it in like a 3 incident policy or a 3 strike policy. And once again, if people want to contest that or if people don't agree with it, that's kind of what the courts are for.
I am all for proper documentation of vehicles being used as evidence, but I don't know how everyone else feels about
Push
it. I'm in
birthing.
line with what you're saying, Malton, because we've already had instances where I can tell you personally, we're already seeing personal vehicles that I can think of off the top of my head, 2 in particular, that I've seen at 5 separate instances being used in the commission of some form of a crime. One of the owners was called and asked about their vehicle, and they said, "Oh, I give my keys out to a lot of people." I don't remember who, though.
That again, like I talked to you about, that is really not your problem. If they hand their fucking car out to somebody that's going to commit crime, that's really on them.
Oh, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm just saying, like, if the standard is going to be it's documented as being used and it's not reported stolen, and that's the what we want to use, that's great. I'm saying that people will.
So 3 instances of the vehicle being caught, used in a violent felony, no signs of tampering, equals seizure. Is that what we're arguing?
Are we making a violent felony?
I would say violent felony, yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Strikes handle everything else like speeding and requisiting and all that bullshit.
I'm fine with that.
So okay, so basically we're having 2 sorts of strikes. We're having
Still say worm
non-violent
task? I haven't
felonies
really
we can
played
build
except
up,
for on stream.
Then we take it away, and or we have 3 strikes of
Well,
felonies.
the other one includes violent felonies, but it would just be automatic in terms of if they reach 30.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Instead of linking this vehicle asset forfeiture to like the existing backend systems, we just kind of create our own standard with the 3 violent felony policy or whatever we end up calling it.
I want to advocate for the car being auctioned. I don't think the state should.
I agree with
love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
all
that
right,
should
well,
go to
eight more, baby.
Maybe that should go to PD funds. You eat what you kill kind of thing.
I think I had it like that first, and I made it just to the state. But yeah, I'm fine with whichever, really.
What if the original owner is the auction winner?
Well, that in theory you shouldn't care.
No, auctions should only be to civilians. No felony.
Oh,
Understood.
all right, there we
Even
go.
better.
Easy clap.
I'm
Easy.
very okay with that.
I don't care where the money goes, state, PD, split, whatever. But
I can't even see
I
it.
think that if the DOJ is seizing it, then by that definition,
For the
DOJ
record,
should
this
be the
was
one auctioning it.
prior to the collapse. This was one of the things that was being worked on, which is why I have ideas about it already. We just didn't implement it because there was so much going on with Sanguine.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
But we had a whole system already
can't do a
described and
scene.
set up, which is what I'm kind of describing. So the idea was, whatever reason it gets seized, it then goes to a publicly announced auction. The DOJ posts about on the City Hall public government email server. Everyone is aware of it. Date and time where we'll actually
Come
hold
back,
the auction
Worm
in
Chan.
person here in the city. That auction then will be restricted only to civilians, aka no felonies on your record, and the money would go to the PD funds that deal with whatever you want to call it, cargo fast cops. I don't know what they're called now.
I mean, I think where the funds go, maybe that's a discussion that the treasurer should work out with the PD or the DOJ or whoever it needs to be about how those funds are split.
Got him.
Anybody any comment on that, or I don't know?
I love that.
I think it's fine. I mean, I think the overall idea I'm fine with. Implementation, yeah, that's something we could play with as we go along. But I would.
Because I mean,
say,
look, let's be honest. It's gonna be pretty fucking hard for the PD to catch someone's personally used vehicle being used in 3 separate violent felonies.
True.
With no signs of tampering, right? Like that's
Right.
people are gonna wisen up by the second time.
Yep.
You would hope.
If they don't, that's how they lose it.
Them. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, fuck around and find
They
out.
gotta learn.
Play,
to get
yeah,
smarter,
play dumb
yeah.
games, win stupid prizes.
Oh, I'm on board for all this. I agree with that.
I know our statute of limitations 30 is that saying, are we saying strike these violent
Sex
felony
trafficking for
strikes
something?
fall off after 30, 60, life of the car? Like, what
Currently,
are we
the way
saying
that it
on
works
this?
is strikes are on a rolling basis of 30 days. From the point the strikes go on, they roll after 30 days. In terms of this, I would say it's the life of the car.
Oh, he's not dead.
The financial regulation strikes, I would say it's whatever. But for this,
For the
whole
violent
point
felony
is to
one.
deter the use,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
I think I'm fine with life of the car, and if it gets too out of hand, I mean, hey, that's next council can peel that back if they wish.
People are
We
not
can
gonna like that,
revisit
but
it,
yeah, fucking.
Anybody disagree with this idea? It's pretty radical. I mean,
It is, yeah, honestly. I think making it life of the car, people are not going to like that because I mean they'll use it as a getaway drive for like everything,
They'll
even
just have
things
to
they
be
don't
smart.
even think are violent. But yeah, I mean we should put that pressure on.
Can we run back the describing of the charges real quick so I can note that down? Because I missed that part.
which ones?
So if they're used in a non-violent or violent...
No, just a violent felony.
Okay, so currently the system is strikes range from parking to violent felony. The
So
amount of
many
strikes
battle axes,
corresponds to the severity of the crime. It's all automated based on what the vehicle is impounded for, marked by the PD. The strikes cost a certain amount to get out of impound, scaling with the original cost of the car. What we're discussing is a separate legislative act that basically says if your personally owned vehicle is found to be used in a violent felony and there are no signs of tampering on the vehicle, then that is an incident that counts as a formal strike under this piece of legislation. 3 incidents that occur would lead to the vehicle being seized, put up for auction to a civilian community.
I mean, like
people without
114K
felonies on their
gold
records.
doing this.
And then the money would be discussed through the treasurer and the PD of how to basically give back to the PD for catching what they
No
get.
dragon harpoons.
I would. The only thing I'm against with that specific wording is, obviously people are gonna start lockpicking their
Slayer
own. I
level?
would just say instead of without
No,
tampering, I would
they're
say
not.
with their knowledge.
That's not our concern.
No,
That's
they're not
our
going to do
concern.
that.
All right, fair enough.
That is not our problem.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's definitely not my problem, and definitely not.
I'm
anyone
really
else.
sorry, Crane. The last part you said, if 3 strikes are on a vehicle, the vehicle is seized, yeah, by the state.
If there are 3 incidents of a privately owned vehicle,
How many QP you got?
apprehended by the
203
police,
out of 301?
used in a
Pretty
violent
good.
felony with no signs of tampering, then the vehicle will be seized, put up for auction.
Okay, thanks.
Does anybody have any disagreement or thoughts on that before I start writing up language?
I'm good.
I'm good.
No, that's fair.
Okay, I will start drafting.
Next is Philippa's thing.
Oh, and by
Yes.
God, if any of you want to read the updated firearm components law, be my guest, but I'm just going to warn you right now, there's like 30 different things in there, so good luck.
Fair enough.
I got 2 things. One's too short to even throw in there, so I'll just get it out the way now. This is a proposal from our board of directors, Charlie Janetti, who's real concerned about his very special son, Willie Glory, recently hired as a judge. He drives around on motorcycles, without a helmet, and so Janetti wanted to pitch to us to discuss that we should make a law mandating people wear helmets on them.
Janetti, a communist?
That I'm surprised he was trying to push for this too. He's usually very much for free rights, but you know, I said I'd bring it up. I was never a fan of it, but you know, his pitch was to protect Woodland. That's the whole thing. Also, health and safety.
One more.
Admittedly, it would put pressure on like motorcycle clubs and things.
What am I farming the worms
to
for?
be
It's a Slayer test.
identifiable and to not drive around looking like assholes all the time. So hey, there's a benefit.
Malton, don't you drive a motorcycle?
I do, and I will not be a hypocrite when it comes to helmets. And you know, I'm gonna keep the same thing that I have with moonshine. I think if we can't be regulating what people do with their bodies in terms of drug use, light drug use, that includes helmets as well. I am against this proposal.
I tend to agree.
Yeah, if people
anyone.
want to take the risk of cracking their heads open like a watermelon on the asphalt, then I mean that is their right. So
pretty much, yeah. You know, it could be an extra thing to get the state
did my
money, but I
task.
don't think it would really do much.
Yeah.
I will stir the
I
pot
said
a
I'd
little
bring it
bit
up,
and
but
say
that's
if you're
about it.
against helmets, but you're also you should also sorry if you're for helmets you should also be against moonshine. Like, hey,
I get what you
this
mean,
is
yeah.
like a general discussion. I don't want to keep harping on this point, but
It's-
either we could control what people do with their own health
With their
and
health
safety,
and
or we
safety,
can't.
don't.
Yeah.
No,
You know
I
what part of
agree.
my
I agree.
you know what part of my right is as an American, Mountain?
Mm.
To be a goddamn hypocrite.
Hey,
Hell
that's,
yeah.
that's more than fair too.
Hey,
I'm just
fuck it.
saying, if you don't think people should be possessing and consuming moonshine, then you should probably be thinking people should be wearing helmets too.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah, no issue on that one. I said I'd bring it up. But I'm
Maybe,
pretty much
maybe
on the
they can
same
drink
page
it
as
while
y'all.
they're on the motorcycle without the helmet, right?
Hey, there you go. We don't have
No, because they can't possess it. That's we did not
possess it.
decriminalize it.
Big Skenger raid? Who the fuck? Who
Okay,
the fuck
on
was
to
Big
the-
Skenger again?
this other proposal. I know
Fucking,
a few people have spoken to Sunny Brooks. I know she was making an effort to try to speak to a lot of you. She
Zakid.
came to me
Yeah,
asking me to
yeah,
pitch
yeah.
this. Full disclosures.
What up, dog?
This was written by Siobhan, from my
Thank
understanding.
you. We're
by
doing a
Siobhan.
boring council
I
meeting.
did not have any
No
say
poggers
right in any of
crime
this,
here, friend.
Other than
Doing some RS. I got
had
2
one
ruined Billy bodies.
suggestion on
Let's
Twitter, and that was
go.
it. Other than that, I just told her I'd
I got one more.
bring it as is. If y'all
yeah,
want to
she
read
brought
over
it to me as well.
I have read the first sentence. I'm against touching official religions with a 10-foot pole. That's
that. Yeah, I
What?
thought it'd be a fun discussion. Yeah, take a
I
look
will
at it,
keep
Crane.
reading,
Take a
but
look
just
at
off
it.
the first sentence, I am.
Council meetings pick of the week. No, I like it.
This one so far.
I told her that I understood where she was coming from,
Make
and
sure
I
your account
understood
security is up to
what
date.
her intentions. But unfortunately, I just see this opening up way too many cans of worms. I see it being abused profusely, and I just think it's best not to touch it with a 10-foot pole, like Lance said.
Yeah, the general vibes I got of it, discussing the things with her, is her intentions for it are pretty great. That does not mean we need any of this.
Yeah.
She could do this all by herself. No
And
one
that's
is
what I told
stopping
her.
I said I'd pitch it and we can all discuss it, but yeah, that's generally my thoughts. Is I don't understand the necessity.
Are you putting this for a vote then, Cantor? Just as is?
I mean, we can. It was more you know, if anyone had thoughts that I didn't have, that maybe this was in some way a good idea, that I told her I would pitch it.
Nay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I think she just wants her church, but like, why can't she request that as a business or something? And if she's trying to get construction for her church, then you know that's another issue.
No, her the whole reason
yeah.
she brought it forward was for the protected right of confession.
See that I
which
don't.
it's
Yeah, I don't really understand.
God, I hear like in my
at
brain I can
all.
hear Siobhan screaming over there.
She. Well, you know.
Yeah, Catholic.
My priest is a therapist, so I have HIPAA. Wait, no, I don't.
No, you don't.
We don't have HIPAA.
This
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not the
I told her
tangent.
I'd pitch it because it was nice she came to me. But
Yeah, I don't want to change this too much, but this is just for like if other people ask me for you know, the mayor's office here. If are you going to require non-profits, basically whatever that may be, like charities, unions, etc., are they going to have a business license to be legit, or are you all only intending that for people who are like for-profit, product, service to sell type of stuff?
Might issue them a business license just for the purpose of tracking them.
Okay.
Maybe
So
maybe
she could,
maybe
like,
we can get a
register
new
the
license.
church as a business type thing.
Yeah, or maybe a different kind of license could be issued for this sort of thing. I think this is a great idea. One, two. I'm curious. Let's say Jimmy Copstabber goes and tells his ordained minister, "Hey, I stabbed a cop," and then the priest is like, "Hey, you know, I'm your religious therapist, wherever the fuck they do at church. Here's what you should do." You know, maybe this person urges them to turn themselves in, or maybe they're like, "Hey, listen, like this is how you're going to make amends, blah blah blah." Where is the harm in something like this? I don't see it.
I think the harm is state recognized religions. I do agree with like the sentiment. Like if people want to confide in a religious person for guidance, I am all for that. But I think maybe the I don't want to call it the loophole, but the way to make that work within the confines of our existing law is that that priest or that religious official, they just get licensed as a therapist through Pillbox, and then all that stuff would be protected.
I will say there is a
difficult to do,
problem.
I will say, but yeah.
For example, as Siobhan well knows, and Malton and other attorneys, the DOJ has internal policy about mandatory reporting. So if someone comes to you and says, "I'm gonna go fucking blow up City Hall," it has been long-standing that as an attorney, due to your code of ethics, you're expected to, you know, come forward and present that. In terms of a religious figure being somehow exempt from that kind of reporting seems problematic to me, mostly because if someone has done something, most of the time outside of, like, let's say a domestic violence scenario, or and even then they reoffend, but outside of very unique circumstances, most of the time the act isn't tied to a unique circumstance. Most of the time it's tied to symptoms, mental health, other criminal proclivities that make them likely to reoffend. So you want mandatory reporting so that it doesn't happen again and or spread to other people, etc.
So I will say that's on me. The initial pitch was that they would be mandatory reporters, but then there would also be privilege on the confessional. I thought that was unnecessary because, I mean, we're not even mandatory reporters. From my understanding, there's not many mandatory reporters in the city.
Yeah, why is the bar the DOJ for this?
Well, I'm saying that I would think that it would be I don't know, I'm just thinking morally, I think it's pretty dangerous for society if people admit to someone that they're going around killing people and that person doesn't report that.
Okay, so your issue is the mandatory reporting part, not the privilege, or is just kind of both all in one? Because I thought the
Well, I don't think privilege
admittedly,
should
is a big
extend.
ask.
Privilege,
Yeah.
well, for example, with lawyers, privilege does not extend to "I'm going to go kill my wife."
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't.
Yeah, it's
privilege
after the
doesn't
fact.
work
I
for that.
understand. Yeah.
That's kind of gross truffle.
Privilege only works for "I killed my wife."
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you would want them to
I
be
don't know.
mandatory reporters? That's
I don't know.
My understanding was that most people in the city weren't. Is why I
Let
I
me
just thought
read.
it
Let
put
me
an
read in
unnecessary
full the
burden
text.
on her. Mm-hmm.
I've been tinkering with these other charges.
Anything official with religion,
Mens rea.
like I said, hard nay from me. If
It's,
we're wanting to
it's
talk
not
about,
official, man. It's not like the state's backing one
It's a little
religion.
official.
No, it's not. It's really
the
not.
establishment of official religions recognized by the state.
Why is
What's wrong with
Okay,
that?
hold on,
It's not
hold
like
on,
we're
hold
backing
on.
one religion.
Hold on.
People see the word religion, they're
What's
like, "Oh my God, no! It
don't wanna
can't
back-
happen like that."
I don't
Did you
want
say
people to have
Siobhan
to
wrote this?
file to believe in something. They could just do it.
Siobhan?
Okay, first of all, this is not how I wrote it. I wrote it differently. Crane, everything that you were saying, I had written in such a manner that you would have been on board with, as a matter
Well,
of
hold
fact.
on.
I
No,
had
no, that's not
mandatory
what my
reporting.
question is.
Oh, okay.
Did you write the title, Siobhan?
Yep.
Men's rape.
Why does it spell out men's rape?
For fun.
God.
I literally told Sunny I thought you'd hate that. That's hilarious.
Mm, 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 mm.
Anyway, I had mandatory reporting. I thought would be required. So that was
Who
that was
who
did
decides
have that, yeah.
upon completing an ordination program?
So I guess that's under the mayor's office, but like they're not ordained, so I don't quite. I guess it would just kind of be like a business thing, but different.
That's the point that I brought up to her. I was like, so the mayor's office.
That was my
would
issue as
be the
well.
one
I said that the
responsible for choosing ministers.
the
to
process needed to be
ordain.
outlined.
And I'm like, okay, so the government is overseeing religion.
I think it's an intra.
It doesn't make sense.
I think it's just within the church if you're ordained or not. Yeah, that's all something that specific church can decide. If we're wanting to protect confessions in a religious setting, I think a better route would just have religious therapist, whatever you want to call it, religious therapists,
Spiritual advisors,
or spiritual advisors that I don't know, like Pixie can hand out those licenses or something. I don't know.
Forgive me for being cynical, but isn't this just another way to do the marriage privilege, but with less restrictions?
Yeah,
That was
and
my
we did the
concern,
marriage
yeah.
privilege.
Yeah, but we locked down like the judicial oversight and all the things that would
A
prevent
lot
the
of
abuse
money
of it.
behind it. Yeah, there's like a
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to get to that. Whereas this is just you could pretty much claim privilege for anyone because you're ordained.
And you can only marry one person. It's like you could confess to how many spiritual advisors, and be protected, by all, none of them can tell on you.
How many snitches do you get, Nakota?
Snitches?
Yeah, people who come to you and report a crime.
Few and far between.
Knock, knock, knock.
So what does this hurt in its current incarnation then, if it is not something that commonly happens with the police department
Knock,
anyway?
knock, knock. Are you guys okay? Okay. We got a report.
Wait, what the fuck?
I mean, it may have just been in the building somewhere.
Hey, has anyone seen a firearm in here?
No.
Apparently
No,
Cops
no,
got a
I'm just
report of
taking
it.
care. I'm just taking care of if you guys are good because
No,
we got a
I'm-
report of firearm inside City Hall. So, yeah. Oh.
God
so
damn.
for us,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
on
we're
radio, good.
we're okay here.
Okay, okay. Good, thank you,
Bobby
guys.
Charles likes to wave around a hunting rifle here, so maybe look for him.
All right, thank you.
Alright, what we got?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really fucking care about this. I think I've never give a shit about nonprofits or religious entities or any of that. If you want to be a fucking loser in the woods wearing a robe and pissing yourself, go for it. I don't, whatever.
There's two points of concerns. The one point is the privilege, correct? I don't think it's really a huge point of concern because of the as our PD liaison said, that the frequency with which people go to them to do what we are afraid that the priest will not be able to do courtesy of privilege just rarely, if not ever, happens. One. Two, is the state recognizing recognized by the state with the privilege of the currently for ordained ministers grant only those as such by the state. Los Santos is a different beast, as future legislation proposed will show, I think. As such, when you look at, say, the American government and the separation of church and state and stuff, it does not necessarily apply in its entirety to our island, because our island is a deplorable den of sin that it just, as our great Chief Justice has said in the past, the hundreds of years of legal precedents set behind all of the things that that were omitted from the legal and due process of Los Santos just does not apply to us. Therefore, any predispositions about separation of church and state insofar as this new process is concerned is not valid, because we do not have that same history.
I'm good with all this. Max, before you go on this speech, I want to ask you a question. What does nonprofit get you?
Nothing.
Okay. Because in the past, people have only wanted nonprofits for tax breaks and shared bank accounts and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't even know how we would track that, so.
Well, I would just propose we just don't issue them bank accounts.
Yeah.
Agree. I'm for that.
If they want to wear their fucking robes and talk to each other in their church or whatever, then go for it. I think we should take kind of the same policy we did with the other thing, where we basically say, all right, do what you want, but, you know, like we did with marriage, right? Like, we're recognizing this very, very narrow thing, but, you know, you're not getting anything else out of it.
Right.
Yeah, it works for me.
And this will also open the floodgate for many more people wanting to open their own churches.
That is true.
Yeah,
so
and we can tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, it's the same, because remember how Crane, you were kind of like, you know, and obviously you changed your mind, but you were like, you know, I remember when, you know, Mr. K and Rami came down trying to get married so they could get spousal privilege and stuff and blah blah blah. You know, obviously you didn't marry them because you realized, hey, this guy is not at all passionate about what they are bringing forward. Like Sonny Brooks, who is extremely passionate about this.
She is.
Has been working so hard for this. It deserves to have something that is truly representative of that particular niche within Los Santos. It should be given that chance. But if I see a motherfucking Vagos roll up and he's like, hey, Vato, you know, I got that church on the south side, Vato, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I'm not going to give that guy through the process the ability to have this kind of privilege, you know.
So I think, from my first thoughts on this is that maybe as it stands, it's a little much. But what if, like you said, it was essentially kind of an offshoot of business proposals that you would just handle? They'd be, I mean, not necessarily nonprofit, since they're just not getting money at all.
Let him say that stuff.
I don't know if we need to make a impersonating a clergyman charge. That feels
that is something that
I
she
guess. But if
she
there's
mentioned,
privilege, I suppose we'd have to make sure they don't just claim it. I don't know. Where could we land on this so we can do something with it? What issue, like, Malta, what would fix this for you?
You just let people become religious therapists, or however you want to define that. Then you don't. They could claim whatever church they want. They could claim, whatever tenets they want. They could operate wherever they say their religious place operates. It's just, if you want this confessional privilege, it's still recognized by the state, but it's just through the form of a therapist's license.
I mean, Father Tanner has been going around for years without anything like this.
He's a priest, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he's been offering
the
advice.
of it, yeah. He has always done that. The issue with the therapy out in Malta is that that doesn't mean much, to be frank. We do not oversee therapists. We oversee it's counselors that we don't oversee. Therapists, only about 4 are going to be hired on. So they're not overseen by Pixie. They're not overseen by the hospital. Like, that doesn't actually mean anything. They're essentially just volunteers. So it doesn't really do anything. That makes sense.
Don't forget about Pastor Slim.
I mean, that could always be changed, but I get
It
where you're
could,
coming.
absolutely. Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, and ultimately, whatever authority ends up issuing these, if that's the idea that people want to go with, I think is up for, you know, it could be the mayor's office, or, you know, pillbox, or, you know, the board, or whatever, right? I just think for me that's a better route. Is if the goal of this is to give people another avenue for spiritual enlightenment through like confessions or saving their soul from this mortal plane or whatever, I think personally that's much better accomplished just through the licensing of religious therapists that would have these confessional protections rather than non-profit church licenses.
Okay, I can see that. Max, since that would be under you, how do you feel about that concept instead?
I don't like it. Furthermore, I think that impersonating a clergyman is a crime is good, because as soon as this comes out, there might be people who are like, I have a church too, you know, obviously. And
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and they didn't go through the process.
It is a slippery slope.
Well, it's a slippery slope, but the thing is the mayor is the bottleneck. So there needs to be punishment for people who are trying to detract from someone who actually went through the process and got the thing approved.
Absolutely.
So I think that being a crime is perfectly fine to protect the interests of the state in the way that we are going to be overseeing this. And furthermore, in the past, I've heard tons of shit about, you know, obviously this probably isn't going to be the case anymore. It seems like the streets have been kind of serial killer free. But, you know, if there have been cults in the past.
Thank fucking God. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential here. Sorry, my chair's a little squeaky.
Fine.
Yeah, I got a fat ass. I think there's a lot of potential here to satisfy the needs of people in Los Santos that, as far as I'm aware, have never been represented properly. I think it is a relatively tame, hands-off, not one religion-focused thing, therefore is not exclusionary in that regard. I think it is not harmful. I furthermore don't think it is damaging to the police department's ability to prosecute people, given that people do not report crimes in this way typically anyway. And as it is written now, except for the actual process that the mayor would define for them to go through, i.e., you know, me sitting down later to do it, I think it is pretty much perfect as written. So let's vote it. I think we've all said our piece.
Oh,
Nay.
Any additional nayers?
I am also going to be a nay on this, only because what's the enforcement on this?
The police department,
Dakota, speak up.
Sorry, I was asking what the enforcement is going to be on this.
So it would be an official charge if we vote this in. It's $5,000 per instance of impersonating a clergyman.
I am going to abstain from this vote.
All right. Philippa?
I'm kind of torn. Sunny is really optimistic about it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And she's great. But I do not personally see the necessity of this. But at the same, you know, I'm kind of going back and forth with myself. At the same time,
I'm doing
this would
literally
be under
the same
you,
thing, Philip.
And if you are interested in overseeing this, then I mean, you know,
I am.
I'm not the one doing it, so.
I worry about like how widespread this is going to become, who the ordained ministers are going to be.
I mean, in theory, that would be up to the church once their license was approved, or their recognition was achieved, rather.
So it seems like anyone who wants to be ordained as a minister would have to go through the mayor's office. It's not
Correct.
decided by the church. It would be each individual minister. So that's good.
That's the check, right?
Yes. So they can't just add random people, to
Correct.
say the least.
It's kind
we
of
are in agreement that the impersonation of a clergyman is a thing that we want to put forward as well.
absolutely. If this were to go forward,
Admittedly, if we are allowing any amount of privilege, we kind of have to check that.
Now-
right? But at the same time, if there's just a way to verify that they're a minister, then I
Are
mean,
we requiring mandatory reporting?
no,
Because
not
there
as
was
written.
back and forth. Not okay.
Juno. Oh wait, well hold on, I forgot to
yeah,
vote.
Crane.
Yeah, I'm for this. Yeah.
You gotta come back. I'm writing the other vehicle shit. Just give me last.
So it's 1-1-1 currently, basically.
Yep. Filippo, what was your vote?
Wow, this is. I was still going back and forth. But at the end of the day, if you want to oversee it, it's something that some people are interested in. Even if it is not used much, fuck it, I'll go yay.
Okay. Juno.
Yeah. I'm gonna go yay. I mean, we try it out. I mean,
yeah,
we
that's another
hear
thing
what
that
the
could be-
public says, and I mean, the worst possible outcome to this is we at a later date if it doesn't go the way that.
But before we continue as well, I could throw a line in there about the council or the mayor having the ability to dissolve these things if they turn into like these corrupted hotbeds.
Hell yeah, good. Yes,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
just completely
That's
destroy
good.
them if they seem to be getting used.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Okay, yeah.
Like-
If we do that,
bring
then I
this
would
stuff-
be.
We bring this stuff forward, and we can easily take it away. It shouldn't be all that difficult if we, in unison, agree or the majority agree.
Okay, fuck yeah. That's fine with me then. Just shut them down if they're being dumb. Easy. Yeah, if anyone else has thoughts, if there's like something, they have an issue with.
Taking
Oh my
candy
god, I'm
away
so
from a
sorry.
baby and watching
This
him
is,
fucking
it's the problem.
cry.
But I got no issues with any other part of it if we're going to vote yes for it. Oh my gosh.
So I wrote, should the mayor's office believe that these organizations be utilized primarily for purposes of crime or subversion of the state, the mayor's office reserves the right to dissolve these organizations without question.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay.
Michael?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Fuck it, yeah. Some people might really like this, and for the people that don't, it won't affect them. That's kind of what.
Yeah,
I
I
landed on at the end.
really, like you said, Sunny really feels passionate about this. I do want to.
So this was something that was
give her
brought
the
to me
shot, I guess.
offline.
And
Yeah,
then
same.
given the changes that we've made, I think that kind of puts some of my worries at ease. So I'm willing to give it a shot. Yay!
All right, Crane. He's gonna abstain.
It is my belief that it's not my place to decide this. I think that if Max wanted to, he could just issue businesses licenses to these places anyway and make them legitimate through that avenue. I really don't care about what people do in their silly fucking robes and their sky fairies. So at the end of the day, I abstain. Don't care.
Wow.
So
Abstain,
five
this is a big
pass,
one.
2 abstain, one
Yeah.
nay.
Who was the nay?
Me.
Walton.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, this passes. I will, for the sake of transparency, I will in the future write out the precise process that is required by this mayor's office for this to become a thing for people. I will be doing it fairly. I will be doing it in a way that will prevent potential abuse, because I think that kind of detracts from the whole spirit of this particular act. I'm not interested in allowing loopholes for people to abuse this.
Hell yeah. Okay, perfect.
I think you guys will see that. It'll be fully transparent.
Oh yeah, no, I believe you completely. I'm not too worried.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're overseeing it, I like it.
Okay. Break, gentlemen, ladies.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to
Yes,
interact
yes,
with vehicles.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Max, you need to call your son.
Does anybody have
Oh.
food?
Yeah.
I'm fucking starting to decay
He's
over
panicking.
here. Oh,
Yep,
sweet.
vending machine in the waiting room downstairs.
It's okay. We didn't confirm that he was our son. Hi. I gotta go pee in me office.
Have fun.
I actually can't call Sizz right now. Hey, we put this here. Is that Brick? Was Brick in the corner? Yeah, Brick. New Brick looks fucking psycho. 10-minute break? No, guys. 5-minute break. Hold on. Go. Yo. Save. I'm glad we got that for Sonny. I think it's I think it's an avenue of roleplay that could be fun for people. So. What'd I get? I got 2 donuts and some French bread.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Kermit
Did you
told
get
me
my message about the guy?
Okay, so this is my phone number that I'm using right now. Did you text me?
I tried to call you, but I guess you were in the meeting.
Yeah, what's happening?
There was this guy, Gregory Johnson. Apparently, he's like a former cop that got fired back in the day, and now he's a pastor. He was terrorizing civilians at the library and claiming ownership over the building. So I asked him in a phone call if he'd like me to have a government employee call him and tell him that it's my building. And he said, sure. So I was like, okay, I'll just call you up and, you know, you could just tell him to fuck off.
I thought you wanted it to be a public building.
It is a public building, yeah. But like he's not claiming, he's not like going in to use it. He's claiming the whole thing and trying to like kick people out and shit and like threatening violence on the civilians that are in there.
How about I tell him it's a public building and then he can't do that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Anything like that is fine. I just told him that my name was on the deed, and he was like, "No, it's my building. You're not doing anything with it." And I'm like, "What? What?" I don't know what this conversation is right now, but like people actively use that building all the time. It's you know, there's civilians that run businesses out of it, and yada yada yada. But whatever. I don't know. He just needed it to come from a government employee, I guess.
Right now, for posterity's sake, we the Liquid Library is state-owned property. Which makes it public.
Okay, that works.
As I understood that, I thought that was your wish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't want any. I mean, that's for anybody. I don't want anybody to just waltz in and be like, "This is my building now. We're gonna do X, Y, Z." There's people already operating out of the building, and that's what I want. That's I want those people to continue to be able to do that without getting heckled and fucking threatened and all that.
What crime do you think it would be for someone to do that? Just out of curiosity, because I'm gonna make a state announcement about it.
I don't know. Doesn't that fall in line with your guys' whole like renamed Rust Act thing about terrorizing businesses and shit?
Yes, kind of. Yes.
I figured it would fall in line with that. I don't know. Literally everybody that's in the library are civilians. They're not. Yeah, ego act or whatever. I don't know. There's no gangbangers or anything like that in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a state announcement right now.
All right.
I love you.
Yeah, love you too.
How'd it go?
I just hugged Juno while she cried, so I think you need to have a conversation with her after this meeting.
Look, I don't fucking have time for this shit, dog. What?
She told me that if this conversation with you does not go well, she's like, I hope you enjoy being chief of staff, Siobhan. It'd be great.
Look,
She's really not doing great.
Would you enjoy that?
I would get to finally fucking talk, and I would be. I was thinking to myself that it's a good thing I'm not allowed to talk because I would be arguing so much with these people.
Yeah.
But in a good way. Perhaps a lawyer way. But would I enjoy it? Probably too much. I would enjoy it too much.
My natural disposition toward this will be to sort out any issues.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll see how it goes. All right.
Hi, Juno. I love you.
You guys ready to come back in?
Yeah.
Yup. Let's go.
than everybody else.
Like
will
some
get.
good sourdough bread right now, dude. We return.
Hello.
What's next?
Those were my 2 things. I'm still ironing out my patient privacy stuff. It'll be so simple. It's essentially only to protect information going on the docket. I don't want people getting arrested for like just saying someone's medical information. So that shit gets dumb fast. So that'll be simple when it comes. I'm just ironing it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was anything specific, but I think you told me, Dakota, that like weights and were something that you all could be on the lookout for as police. Do we need to like discuss regulations for
There's
like the
problems with that right now.
Yeah, I figured that's why.
I got some feedback
Okay, so we
that right now, because I had some officers go out and test it. Apparently, I went to the meetings and asked everybody to do it. The feedback I got is that apparently right now there are problems where the truck general cargo readout is declaring, for example, like the sticker on the side of the truck says this truck is rated to carry 1,000
I almost spilled my
kilos,
water,
for
dude.
example.
Holy
But
fuck.
apparently one contract could be like 1,200 kilos.
I mean,
so
I hear it's a take window
there's
we could just
problems
revisit
with
next
compliance.
week. Like it's
Yeah, I
still-
gotta
okay.
I gotta talk to the people who run the trucking industry and figure out what the hell's going on.
Never mind on those.
Company summit.
That was gonna be something I was gonna bring up in terms of charges, but yeah, there's issues.
Do we need to tackle stuff from this unresolved then, or is there anything new that people have?
Yeah, there's still. I'm going through right now and tagging everything that we've discussed. Max has the standardized time uniformity, the marriage registry. Did we approve DRIP and VDM?
We approved DRIP, and VDM is getting like it was approved, but it's not like in
a
its
very modified
form.
Rewritten? Do you want me to
Did DRIP
rewrite
get
it?
rewritten, or is DRIP just as is? What's the deal?
Drip was as is, and it can be figured out in court. Was what we
Okay,
decided.
and we all voted for that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drip was
abstained.
7
I
to 1.
abstained from Drip.
Yeah, Martin was a no.
Oh, okay.
I abstained. And
Who's at the door?
VDM was voted on and unanimously approved.
Do not unlock
as
that door.
a,
Do not
No,
unlock that
do
door.
not.
Oh.
It was unanimously approved as
Leave.
bringing back the unroadworthy vehicle charge.
Okay,
Leave.
so Michael, why don't you take it on your responsibility to rewrite that one for the charge?
The VDM one?
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. So looking at what I've worked through, and I've tracked the votes on them too.
When do I stop eating? After this bite?
The outstanding that are in the city council documents are the unresolved from the last meeting, which Max has already stated we should do at the end.
Mhm.
So the three things we have on our plate are standardized time uniformity, marriage registry, and parks and rec. So Max, looks like you're up.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm trying very hard to sit in my seat right now.
You're doing great. We believe in you.
It's hard.
It is. I get it.
Okay. Time to clear up some nonsense that's been the case for as long as I have been in Los Santos. The discrepancy in time, insofar as like how a police officer will charge somebody, they'll say 30 months, but they go to Bolingbrook for 30 minutes. It has been a strange and pathetic attempt to kind of emulate what transpires in other places in the world. It has been completely ridiculous at points, with people claiming to have been in prison for hundreds of years, despite, being 20 years old, because they weren't actually in prison for 20 or 200 years. They were in prison for, 200 days.
My cousin is 116 years old.
Yeah, but they're not though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I wrote a document. It's kind of far down the list right now. That is, I wrote my thoughts out pretty well. If you guys want to take a minute to read it, if you haven't read it yet. Anyone not read this yet?
I have read it. Yes.
No, I read it last night.
I did read it.
What do you think, Dakota? Because you're a cop, so you're setting someone up to Bolingbrook, telling them they're going to be there for 20 months, but you know that in 20 minutes or whatever they're going to be back out on the street, right?
Yeah. You want me to be honest?
Please do.
I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this.
Yeah.
Why?
That's where I'm at.